Howdy, everybody. Welcome to episode 1 of Nip Talk, the podcast where three dudes discuss celebrity nipples, any size, any shape, doesn't matter. We're discussing them. I'm kidding. If you listened to our last episode, you get that. If you didn't, you must think I'm pretty weird. You probably think that anyway.
It's on our second channel, by the way.
That's right. So let's try that again. This is Critical Mess. It's episode 34. This is the podcast where three dudes in the ad business discuss movies that critics and audiences do not agree on. I'm here with Gris Griswold, Brian McCullough, producer Ben. Say what's up, gents.
What's up, gang?
Hey, this is Brian McCullough, coming off a delightful double feature this week of two movies I hadn't seen before, Notting Hill and Death Proof. Both 4 stars.
Yeah.
Nice.
Both good choices.
Icebreaker. All right, so in keeping with the theme of tonight's film, we're going to be talking war movies. And I want to know, what is your favorite, maybe not the best, but what is your favorite war movie, with a twist here, that is not a World War II film? Let me have it.
Gris, I feel like you latched onto this. Do you want to go first?
Yeah, I think I did. I have a really underrated great film, The Wall from 2017, directed by, or it's starring Aaron Taylor Johnson.
It's a Pink Floyd movie, right?
John Cena.
What?
And it's directed by Doug Liman.
The Wall. Pink Floyd, The Wall?
The Wall.
No,
but
yeah.
there was.
Oh, okay. Doug Liman, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. The Wall. I'll have to check
Very
it out.
underrated. Great Afghanistan sniper shooter up. It is this movie that we're about to review, but I don't know, 1,000 times better.
Cool. I'll add it to my list.
John Cena, though.
Well, you'll see.
He's good in whatchamacallit with
Cock
Polka Dot,
blockers.
with the Polka Dot Boy, who was just on Late Night with the Devil. What's the Peacemaker? Peacekeeper?
Oh, Peacemaker.
Maker.
What's the Suicide Squad?
Suicide Squad.
Yeah,
Suicide
whatever.
Squad, but yeah,
I can't-
the movie, or the show.
Yeah, it's called
Yep.
Peacemaker. Yep.
Yeah, it's very good.
I like John Cena in that role and that role alone.
Same.
I'm going to go Braveheart is my favorite war movie that's non-World War II.
Great pick.
And a close second for me, I'm going to call Gladiator a war movie because there was a battle in the beginning of it. I don't necessarily know if I would think of that as a war movie, but that's up there as an honorable mention. And then 1917 is World War I. I put that as my top 3.
All right. Great choices.
All right, Brian, I think Braveheart is probably right.
Okay.
I think that's probably the right answer. I'm going to throw one other one out there, though, that I like, that I feel like is a little bit underrated, is Black Hawk Down. I think is a pretty great, pretty like visceral, intense, kind of epic in a lot of ways war movie.
I think it holds up. I just rewatched it recently, and it holds up.
Yeah.
I thought about Vietnam, and I thought about Platoon and Apocalypse Now and things
some
like
great
that.
ones.
I haven't seen Platoon in so long, though.
Yeah.
And I was going to say Forrest Gump but it's not a war movie, so I couldn't say it.
Yeah.
Great Nom stuff in there, though.
Okay, well, we're going to spoil the movie we're talking about here tonight. And we asked that, maybe watch the movie as you listen along or before you listen along here. But tonight we're going to talk about a film from the year of our Lord 2001. And if you couldn't tell from the icebreaker, it is a war movie, and it is called Enemy at the Gates.
If you kill him, you can win the war for us. You've promised people a victory I can't deliver.
And is there a girl he loves in his village?
Not in his village, here.
Does she love him?
Paramount Pictures and Mandalay Pictures present
Kill you and then you'll kill me too.
Joseph Fiennes,
She believes in you.
Jude Law,
You've built me up and up into someone I'm not.
Rachel Weisz,
It seems your destinies are entwined.
Bob Hoskins,
Where is he? Where's Vassili?
He's dead.
and Ed Harris.
He isn't dead. Because I haven't killed him yet.
A hero never chooses his destiny. Destiny chooses him.
And right off the bat here, talking numbers, 68 mil on the budget, so pretty healthy, especially for 2001. Just about 100 return. So, not a big hit. I would say, Brian, you're the money guy. That probably lost money, right?
I wasn't paying attention. What'd you say?
Oh, no.
Sorry.
That was the first.
Tell me the two numbers.
Wow.
I was trying to fix the quality of the version of the movie we're watching right now because I feel like
sure.
it's really low grain, but it says it's in 4K. I don't believe it. Tell me the numbers again.
Playing League of Legends on your phone again. Weren't you? Anyway.
They're not a sponsor. Get out of here.
Speaking of,
68 mil. is what this thing cost. Took in about $100.
I'd say it. I'd be surprised if it made money then.
Yeah.
I think it needs to do about double in order to break even because there's no merchandising on this movie.
Yep, sure.
But it wasn't a bomb. We'll
Wait, they're
put it
not
that way.
selling plushies?
Yeah. There's not a lot of tie-ins happening with
Pez
this movie.
dispensers.
There's a lot of
or-
back-end cuts happening.
It wasn't a disaster, but I will say, frankly, I'm not sure that the top priority of this movie was to make money. I will
I
just throw
agree.
that out there. This was more of a Oscar bait World War II piece that didn't quite achieve the level of something like The Pianist or Saving Private Ryan. But we'll talk about that a little bit.
And I guess I'll say I'm both surprised that the budget was only $69 million or 60 or whatever it was.
68, yeah.
And I'm also pleasantly surprised that it made $100 million or whatever.
Yeah,
so
agreed.
both of those numbers
Agreed.
are surprising to me.
Agree. This one's directed by Jean-Jacques Annaud, a Frenchman. If you couldn't guess that.
No.
Hasn't directed a lot of big Hollywood movies. The only one I honestly ever even heard of was 7 Years in Tibet, which was an okay movie, as I recall. But he's done some French films for sure. Not a lot of note, though. By the way, if you look at his Wikipedia, he's got this like great kind of Einstein hair. He just looks kind of like a mad scientist director guy. He looks cool. He looks like a cool, kind of a wily Frenchman.
Looks like a creative.
He does. Speaking of creative people, this movie stars Jude Law, Rachel Weisz, Joseph Fiennes, brother of Ralph. I didn't realize that.
Yes.
I guess I just didn't ever make that connection.
I was like, wait a minute. Joseph Fiennes is not Ralph Fiennes.
Yeah.
And I looked him up, and there's like 5 siblings. I don't know if they're all actors.
There's a little group of them.
Yeah.
The Fiennes.
It's like the Baldwins.
Fiennes.
It's like
Little
the British Baldwins.
Nice.
Who else is in this movie? Super Mario in this movie.
Hey.
Hey.
Yep, old Bobby Hoskins. And Ed Harris, of course. This film, based on a book of the same name written by William Craig, adapted for the screen by our director and Elaine Goddard. So, quick refresher about the criteria for what we talk about on the show. So, movies got to be fresh with audiences and rotten with critics or vice versa on Rotten Tomatoes. And the disparity's got to be like 20% or so. So, on Rotten Tomatoes, this one, Enemy at the Gates, 54% with critics, 82% with audiences. So, we got a decent gap here. Decent gap on this one. So, why don't we get right into this? First time we saw this movie came out in 2001. So, I don't know if you've seen it before and how many times have we seen it over the years. And I will start tonight. I saw this movie in the theater, and I've actually seen this movie too many times, unfortunately. I shouldn't even say unfortunately, because I do enjoy this movie actually a lot on some levels, but it's got some flaws. But I bet you I've seen this movie 6 or 7 times, I would say.
Oh,
Something
that's
like
it lot
that.
for you. That's a lot
Yeah.
for anyone, really.
That is a lot.
Yeah, there were just some key scenes I really liked in this movie, and it was just one of those movies I put on a lot, and I had the DVD of when I was younger. So,
Dang, super fan over here.
yeah, I mean, we'll talk about that.
Okay.
We'll talk about that. Yeah, how about you guys?
First time last night.
Wow.
So I've seen the cover of this movie. I've seen Jude Law's face on there, and it's just I'd never seen it. Never had any interest or knowledge about it.
Unlike the snipers, it missed you.
Oh, yes.
Too soon.
I like it.
Eat myself.
Yeah.
Keep that in.
So, as a fan both of war movies and of Jude Law and of Rachel Weisz, can you say both when you were talking about 3 things? Thrive? What's a both
Yeah, that
for
was
3?
right. Thrive.
All things. I definitely, this was on my radar for sure. Saw it in the theater. Definitely owned it on DVD. And I haven't watched it all that many times since then, to be honest. I've probably seen this maybe 3 or 4 times, including a couple days ago.
Holy smokes, that's a lot, guys.
So I guess I'll say, since it's been out for a long time, 5 is my 4 or 5, something like that.
Okay. This is Critical Mess. We're talking about Enemy at the Gates. We are sponsored tonight by Old Elk. What are we on tonight? The Blended Straight? A little word we like to use around here is ambrosial. It's an ambrosial whiskey. It's also, the Old Elk, the elk in general. It's the Bruce Banner of deers. Listen to some other episodes if you don't understand that. It's time for me to write some new copy for this.
I've got a new word for you.
Oh, good. Oh, we had another new word, but let me get your new word.
Well, this one just came to me because
yeah.
we're talking about Bruce Banner, and he's this big, thunderous, violent thing. But Old Elk is not imposing in the same way. It could be, and here's the word: Old Elk is a meek bourbon, very powerful, but restrained.
Hulk on the outside and Bruce Banner on the
Yeah.
inside.
To meek. Although I don't like the word meek, so I take it all back.
But it's meek and mighty.
The meaning of
same
meek
time.
is good, but the sound of meek, I just think weak. I don't know why.
It does rhyme.
What's your word? It's going to be way better than mine.
Well, the word we were starting to use last episode was peerless.
Oh, peerless.
And I
yeah,
think
of
we were
course.
bouncing that around, and we thought, I like peerless because, it means without equal. That Old Elk, because I believe it's accurate, because Old Elk does truly stand in an echelon of its own creation, right? When we talk about the whiskey, even where it sits in the aisle, right?
It's not on a shelf.
It's not. I don't even know where it even ever is. It's just kind of there. And
You know what's
and
cool
buy
about it too? You can see it from across the grocery store.
It's like a beacon.
You see like this sort of like caramel colored bottle wall, and then like you don't know what any of them are except Old Elk. That's the one that pops out to you.
Yeah, we might be
Old Elk, P.O. Box 1048, Indianapolis,
Infinity Blend.
Venmo, at Critical Mass Crew.
Yes, Old Elk, we love you. We love you. Now what we do on the show is rate the movie. And I can tell by the look in Gris's eye, he's going to give it at least a 92.
Whoa. Wow.
Can you tell? It's that.
I can.
It's
No,
just
I
that
can never
glimmer
tell
in
with
my
you.
eye.
I can never tell with you.
So I'll let you guys
No,
go first.
I
Go
think your
ahead.
score might be a 9 and a 2 added together.
Yes, you're close.
Anyways, I'll start this one too. I'm starting it off tonight.
Okay.
Guys, what did I... No, that's what I gave the last movie. Okay.
You're pulling a Brian.
Is this
Just
just
pulling a Brian. No, here we are.
Just shift through your notes. It's fine. We're not recording.
Guys, I'm giving this one a pretty healthy 77.
Hey, all right.
I like this movie. I liked it.
Okay.
I still like it.
Respectable.
There are 5 words I'd use to describe this movie: atmospheric, tactile, grimy, industrial, and foreboding.
Industrial's a good one.
85.
Wow. What the fuck?
Like it.
Damn.
Like it.
Holds up. Grace looks like a deer in headlights.
I mean, it's
There
not,
it is.
I mean,
That
my
was the right
score-
spot for
I mean,
that.
my score's not that bad,
Perfect
but
time.
it's a nice clean 55 for me. It is
okay.
It is
Hey,
not crazy
that's-
high.
You're
not
like the
crazy
critics,
low.
and I'm like the audience.
It
That's
is
almost
weird
exactly
to
what
say
they
that
gave
number when I know that you and I are on the opposite side usually, but
It's
yeah,
interesting.
55. I felt fine.
I thought it was going to be lower, Gris. I did.
It tetered
You
on it
faked
for
me
a
out.
while, but gotcha.
All right. So, I mean, none
Beautiful
of us
sets.
hated this movie. But there is a disparity between those critics and that audience. So I think we need to talk about, why that is, because this was a divisive movie when it came to the ratings. So
Yeah,
I'll jump in.
I'm honestly a little surprised that I'm not surprised the audience score is as high as it is, because this movie is, for lack of a better word, cathartic. It gives you what you want, and it's not confusing. It's simple. It's simplistic, but it's in a cool setting. But I'm surprised the critic score is so low.
Did you think it was predictable? Because this is the first time I watched it last night. So I don't know if you guys remember or recall, or having rewatched this, do you think it was predictable?
Well, I think if you know the real hit, because this is about a real guy, a couple of real
I
guys.
had
Well,
no clue
not a
about
couple
that.
of real guys.
Yeah.
Talia, who's played by Rachel Weisz, was real.
Mhm.
She was a sniper. She's got like 24 confirmed kills, which is awesome. The movie doesn't even tell you that. And then Zaitsev, what's his name?
Vassili Zaitsev.
Zaitsev. Yeah, he's real, of course. Now the Ed Harris character, not necessarily real, but this is historical. The Battle of Stalingrad happened. It was a huge battle.
Yep.
Eastern Front and everything. And so if you know the story, which I did not know,
I had no clue. Yeah.
I think maybe it would be a little bit more predictable, although maybe not. I don't know, because they did take liberties. So, but casting my mind back to the first time I saw it, no, I didn't. It wasn't predictable because spoilers. We talked about spoilers, right? We're going to spoil this. Spoilers. I thought Vassili was going to die at the end, and I did not think the Ed Harris Konig was going to die. That's when I first watched the movie. I just thought, this is it. He's dead. I don't know. I just got that feeling, that sort of like the hero dies feeling. So in that sense, no, it was not. I did not see it coming. I also really did not see the Joseph Fiennes character doing what he did. That was a very sharp,
Yeah.
and that was spoilers for Flip the Script, but that's one of the pieces I did not like about it. So yeah, no. What about you? I mean, you just saw it the first time.
I did think it was predictable. I
Okay.
weirdly, I was like, okay, it was a slog to get through this movie. I mean, I struggled. I think I was texting Ben last night. I was like, I was maybe 45 minutes in, checked the timestamp, which I don't usually do, and I had well over an hour left to go in this film, and I was like, "What? Oh my god!" It was so long, but I just felt like each beat just got to the next thing and the next thing, and then you see people go down, you see a character be injured, and then they get killed. Our main character keeps going, another character enters, they get killed, and it just keeps going in that same direction, and then you get the final battle, which I was like, "Oh, all right, well." For some odd reason, our hotshot German sniper wants to go and leave his stoop and go walk and investigate like a chump.
Well,
for the first time ever.
He thinks he killed Zaitsev, but I mean, that was a weak sort of thing. I think when you have a cat and mouse movie, that's kind of what happens. The stakes just keep ratcheting up. People keep dying. People, they get closer and closer together. Catch me if you can type of stuff. I definitely see where you're coming from, though. For critics, their consensus, if you will, is that it's atmospheric and thrilling. Enemy at the Gates gets the look and feel of war right. However, the love story seems out of place. Now, this is the biggest piece that I found dividing critics, audience, everybody, was how people talked about the love story being pigeonholed into this movie. And I'll just say right up front, I absolutely loved the love story. And if you took that out of this movie, I would have probably knocked 20 or 30 points off my score. Love story was super, super powerful for me. And I love whenever you can have the juxtaposition in a movie of something so harrowing as war and then something so personal and something with so much humanity as like a love story. It's just such a stark contrast. So I think it gives it heart. But I also can see if you're wanting to watch a war movie and then all of a sudden you've got this love story, it's like there's no love story in Saving Private Ryan. I mean, like these aren't the same type of movies either, but if that's what you want, then you're not going to get that here. And I'm just going to say this right off the top. I don't think this is a war movie. I think this is a love story set in war. So Neil Smith, BBC.com. Annaud, that's the director's last name. I don't know how you pronounce it. Annaud.
Yeah.
Is all at sea, scuppered by a directionless and tension-free script and wooden performances from his British leads. Do you guys have a problem with the British accents?
Yeah, I think that was definitely something we were going to Hot Pocket about, and I think we should Hot Pocket about.
Sure, absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, Amy Taubin, Village Voice. Hackneyed material. Guys, was this unoriginal?
It's kind of happened.
It's a historical.
It is original.
It's literally
original.
an original story.
Yeah.
I mean, no offense to Amy Taubin, but maybe she didn't know that this happened. Maybe she was only abreast of the Western Front of the war and not the Eastern Front. John Zabrowski, Seattle Times. The film is way too big for the story. Do you agree? And if so, what would you have wanted this movie to do?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I liked everything about the sniper aspect, them going back and forth. I wish the romantic thing was a little, I don't know, deeper. I wish they told more of her story, I guess. Maybe there was a little bit more about her actually being a sniper. You said she had actual kills in real life.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would have been.
Wait, were they together in real life? Were they like doing it like in the movie?
No, there was not. The love story part is fictionalized.
That had to be.
But they both were they both killed people together. They were like in proximity.
I would have loved that more.
How could it not have happened though? Come on, you got these two snipers sitting there for a long time sniping, and you're like, damn, nice shot, girl.
I know. I could spot for you.
Look at those dirty hands.
Oh boy.
Paul Tatara, CNN.com. An elaborate, character-driven World War II epic that gets the war right, but pretty much fumbles the characters. Did you guys like the characters?
Yeah, I think overall.
I thought they were very serviceable.
Yeah. I don't think any of them were super deep.
Yeah, nothing was like amazing, but
yeah.
like nothing was bad. I actually really like Bob Hoskins.
Bob Hoskins was my favorite part of this movie.
Yeah, I
was
did not
phenomenal.
recognize him for
he
a
disappeared into
couple
his role.
minutes of watching him, and I just sat there and squinted at the TV and just waited for the man to do something that I would recognize. Super Mario from.
God, he's. This is where I
didn't
realize
say
he's talented.
It's a me.
It's me, and I didn't know idea what to do.
I mean, you've got this guy who's Mario. He's Screwball. He's in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, and now all of a sudden he's pulling off like a Russian war general. He does
Khrushchev.
it so good.
Yeah.
The next two reviews, I think, speak to the heart of the divisiveness of the movie. I'll just read it back to back here. Andre O'Heir, Salon.com. A tense and artful war film that works both as thrilling spectacle and as intimate drama. So this person likes the two. And then Nell Minnow, Movie Mourn. If the love triangle is the weakest part of the movie, that's only because the rest of it is so strong.
Those are good reviews.
Exactly. And I think finally Roger Ebert gave this 3 out of 4 stars. His quote is, "It's remarkable." And I think he's right, because I have many remarks to make. So I think the movie was definitely a crowd pleaser, which helps explain the audience score. So we'll look at a couple. We'll look at what the audience thinks about it. Gris, you want to look at what the audience thinks about it?
Yes, I do. I dug really deep into the audience reviews, and most of these don't have names. So that's when you know you went really deep into the archives.
You know what I realized about the audience review? Why even read the person's name? Because it's never even. Let's just read the thing.
Come on, it's funny.
I know, that's true. It is funny. Yeah.
Brian McCullough. Overall, Aim at the Gates.
No, I'm on Letterboxd now.
Graphic and realistic look at war, but the fact that all the characters speak English, and on top of that, none of them have accents, makes the whole experience feel a little silly. Now, many may complain that the romance it bothers you. This is a 4 out of 5 stars. So he gave it a quick, well acted, graphic, all those things, and then kind of pooped on it the rest of the review. But 4 out of 5. And another high. Justin W. That's the only one with a name. Epic masterpiece. One of the best war adaptations. A never gets old duel of the century. 4 out of 5 stars.
Ooh, pretty well stated.
Yeah.
The duel element of the movie is just really strong.
Yeah.
I think that was easily my favorite part of the movie. I think they could have cut down a lot of just mundane, like snapshots and vignettes, focused on the sniper story, focused on those 2 characters, or at least the main character and the love story more. That would have made it a better film for me.
Yep.
Probably my favorite World War II movie. 5 out of 5. 5 stars.
Wow.
That's a bold statement.
I think the scene we're watching right now, when Vassili first takes out this little platoon of high-ranking stuff, is one of the best scenes in a war movie I've seen in a long time.
It's exceptional. I agree.
Yeah.
The tension is so high.
So good.
Yes, I have to say the first 20 minutes of this film were like, oh, it really got serious. It went and showed the breadth of the whole war visually and just epically. And then it goes immediately into this intimate. I mean, how close are they? Fucking 20 meters from that barracks where they're laying on the dead bodies trying to hide. The film was truly amazing opening, and it remains interesting whenever it focuses on a sniper conflict. Skip most of the romance unless you like that kind of thing. Stay on the interesting parts. 4 out of 5.
Oh, the romance is the
Brian's
interesting
favorite
parts.
Yeah. I think that was it. Most of these, a couple of these are worst World War II movie I've ever seen. Too much love story, couldn't connect with the soldiers. 0.5 star. I mean, so I saw a lot of poor reviews and bad
Written
reviews.
by a 14-year-old boy who has not hit puberty yet.
Yeah.
Or an old man that doesn't care about it anymore.
True.
It's tough because I think
one or the other.
My score at 55, I respect this movie for a lot of the things it did. Visually, it looks stunning, so it's just hard to, I can agree with a decent amount of that.
Your score does not surprise me, or I can totally see that. Yeah. I mean, I think that again, critics are kind of responding to the film more or less, and audience is sort of coming in with prescribed criteria for what they want it to be, and rather than just taking what it is and judging it. And I feel like a lot of the audience was going, I think they just wanted like huge battles. Do you think they just wanted explosions and battles instead of like the kind of the lower parts of this? I don't know. Maybe I'm just assuming the audience is dumb, but
audience was high.
Audience was high though.
Yeah. I guess I was only referring to the last couple there that you said.
Yeah.
So you're right. You're right. They were high. I don't know why I said that, but the people who didn't like it probably wanted huge explosions.
What's funny is I didn't want some big bombastic film. I think it was great that they showed those vignettes and then they immediately punched in on these tiny little stories between the snipers or the love story. I loved that. I thought it was great, but I just thought it was just poorly cut together and put. Like it just seemed very discombobulated throughout the whole movie. It was super slow.
Like the pacing.
Pacing was brutal. I mean, every 10 minutes I was like looking at my watch, being like, "Oh my god, this is still going. This is still going."
I just want to point out one other quick reason why I'm sure just audiences like this movie. I mean, these people are hot. We got hot people in this movie.
The hottest.
We got them, and they're all dirty, and they're doing it in the dirt. And
I can respect you say hotness, but I think they all look clean cut. like facial, like they're all like outside of like the generals, they all look old and decrepit as we were looking at some of these guys.
Well, by hot people,
But-
I mean we're just talking Jude Law.
Yeah,
right?
well,
We're talking
Jude Law.
two.
and
Yeah,
you have-
we're talking the two main leads.
Well, you have all his friends too. They're all like somewhat young and they're all clean faced. I think it was so they could portray how young these soldiers were actually going into war. They were, 17, 18,
it's
19
when
years
you get
old.
into the historical part of this
It's
and
insane.
the battle for Stalingrad, it's pretty harrowing. It is. Whew, man. Cool that we have an Eastern Front World War II movie. I feel like there's not a lot of those for in our market.
You guys want to flip that script? Yeah.
Let's do it. I've got one, and that is that I don't feel like Dalinov's sacrifice was quite earned enough. So at the end, Dalinov, he's the guy who sort of betrays and uses Vassili, and he just all of a sudden kind of sacrifices himself. And I almost feel like I missed a scene. I feel like they needed an extra scene. Not that I want the movie to be longer, but just not executed in a way that kept me fully immersed.
Can I just rebut why that didn't bother me?
Yeah, sure.
So I felt like he found out old girl wasn't into him, and he just had nothing to live for. He was just like, I'm done.
I think
right now.
I think I did miss a scene. I think I literally probably like checked out on a scene, and like that and it was probably when we realized that.
That's weird. I checked that out on a lot of scenes here, but
Yeah, no, I checked out on some of the love stuff too, guys. Let's be serious. Okay, I'll throw a few out here. So I had a few problems with this movie for sure. Ending, a little too tidy for me. Not a real good twist or anything at the end, I didn't think. Gosh, guys, we're going to get into the sex scene.
Of course.
Very, very deep and juicy Hot Pocket, and I think it's going to be a chat. So we'll just save that for later. And, I thought a couple of weak turns, like where Vassili faked eyes at the end. Gris, you brought that up. I thought that was not that was just kind of a weak, especially kind of toward the climax. It wasn't a very interesting or good scene.
yeah.
But yeah, that's about all I got.
To flip it, I mean, visually, this movie it holds up. I mean, it's 20 plus years old, and I thought it would look unbelievable. I don't know if they were matte paintings, some of this stuff. I don't know. It was real explosions. I don't know what was going on. I need to look at a lot.
I wondered
of the
if
stuff.
there was any miniature work in the movie, because there's a lot of scenes of big buildings coming down.
I noticed because there were a lot of tiny pieces that look like a lot of large pieces that looked small. They just slowed down and ramped it down at a slower speed. So,
and I love miniature work.
I know.
I mean, Lord of the Rings. I mean, good Lord, like great miniature work is awesome.
yeah, squib work in this, like the squibs for anybody. It's just the
They
explosions.
were real
of little
squibs. This was
blood-
before
like blood
all
pockets and all their jackets.
digital squibs.
Yeah, to show that people get shot. They are. I mean, it was visceral. I mean, it looked realistic. I saw
If you
a
look
lot.
close enough that you can see them flinching,
Yeah,
like as the
Yeah.
squibs go
which
off
is
around
which
them.
makes it more realistic.
It does add. Like, you can tell. Yeah.
I mean, I would tense up if bullets are flying at every.
Especially
corner.
when it's attached to your
Well,
dome.
yeah.
It's just like,
Like,
oh shit.
I mean, you have a
Explosion.
miniature explosion going off.
Yeah,
like,
exactly, on
against
your
you. It's
chest.
gonna.
And there are so many. They're all headshots in this movie. Let's be serious.
Yeah, there's
There's
a lot
some
of
headshots.
headshots.
Yeah.
And think about it. If you know what's coming as an actor, you know how when you know something's
yeah.
coming and you're just ready to.
Man. And then the acting by Bob, Ed Harris, Jude Law. I think those three. I wish it would have been a little bit more intimate. There were a lot of characters in this film, but those three just fucking killed it. I think.
Hot take: I am not a fan of Ed Harris. This is my favorite Ed. This is my favorite Ed Harris performance.
Wow.
Just above The Rock.
Okay, I was about to say.
Just above the Rock. The Rock is
I
pretty
mean,
damn
those are
good.
the two main ones.
Yeah.
Let's be
Yeah.
serious.
Is the Rock on our list?
No, I wish it was.
Yeah, I wish. It's just too good.
Everybody loves it.
Yeah,
That's true.
I mean,
I know.
yeah. Critical Mess, Talking Enemy at the Gates, sponsored by Old Elk. New segment. So it's still fair to call it new?
Yeah, it's still
Brand new.
Still new?
Brand
It's
new.
new till episode 35.
Okay. So here it is. It's called Marquee Mess. Marquee Mess. It's the
Marky Mark.
Marky Mark Mess. And it's the segment where we rename the film. And I'm excited to hear what you guys got tonight.
Mine are all about the sex scene.
Yeah, mine are 70% of mine are. So good. I'm glad to hear that.
I'll give you my first one.
Yep.
Yearning in the Urals.
That's hot.
Okay.
I'll give you my second one. Coitus in the Caucasus.
Nice. I like that one too.
I'll give you my third one.
Tonight.
Sticky Situations in Stalingrad.
Yes. Very.
And I'll give you my fourth one. Love, Death, and Pretty Bad Breath.
Man.
I like that one a lot.
I actually came up with one.
That's it.
Ooh.
All right.
Ooh, here we go.
Yes.
Bang bang in the bunkers.
Yeah.
Okay. It rolls off the tongue.
Yeah,
I like
really
that.
You guys are pretty good. And I
Strong
didn't.
theme.
I didn't do as many, but I did 2: Muddy Shooters and Doing It Dirty.
Okay, yeah, just going right in for it.
Yeah, real simple.
Like that.
So far, 100% of our titles have been on one
All right,
scene.
guys. I've got one
What
that does
scene are you
Mine
talking about?
mine has a lot of bang bang in the other.
Yeah,
True.
areas.
Well,
Dirty
I mean,
Shooters.
yeah,
I mean,
like-
come on.
Sticky situations in Stalingrad, that's like they're caught as there's double entendre. Yeah.
All right, guys. I've got one that does not refer to the scene, but it's equally sophomoric,
Pew,
if
pew,
not
pitter,
worse.
patter.
Okay.
No. Enema at the gates. I'm not done.
Oh, that's not it. Shit. Okay.
Colon.
You can't say colon.
Cover your butt.
Oh man.
Oh,
Okay.
wow.
Now just say that. Just say the whole thing. I want to hear the whole thing.
Enema at the gate. Colon.
I knew you couldn't do it.
Cover your butt.
That's
Sorry.
great. That's really
Shit.
good.
Okay.
Might want to quit on a high note.
No, I've got some better ones
Oh.
than that.
Oh wow.
My sex ones are. I'm really proud of these. All right. Okay. Now we're gonna dial it back. We're gonna go PG.
Okay.
Now, if this was a children's film, it might be called Vassili is Chilly.
Silliest chili.
Why?
He's cold.
Oh,
It's
Cold.
He wraps his rifle in a blanket. It's literally cold.
it's chilly.
Okay, here's another one that's just goofy, but we're not quite to the sex stuff yet. We're almost there, guys. Big Brawlin' for Stalin. Okay. Now, finally, we're to the good stuff.
I'm still wiping away my tears in the last couple.
Okay. All's quiet when humping on the Eastern Front. Cold booty nights. And here's my favorite one, guys. Sniping and piping.
Piping.
Okay,
there it
that's
is.
the
There it
sniping
is.
pipe.
That's a good one.
Sniping and actually, I think it's sniping and piping.
I'll be honest.
Apostrophe with
Apostrophe.
Yeah.
Would you guys prefer if the graphics that I create for this are just our titles superimposed on top of the actual movie covers?
I think it's great. I'm really proud of Love, Death, and Pretty Bad Breath, and I mean their breath had to be just
Oh, can you
atrocious because they weren't well,
Absolutely
we'll get to
no
that.
dental products.
Yeah,
Yeah, her teeth was pretty yellow in a couple scenes.
I mean,
so.
and they were like just right in each other's mouths. It's a lot.
A lot of hot breath.
A lot of hot breath. Good marquee mess.
All right.
Well,
Marky
3 hours
mess.
of prep for 30 seconds of bliss.
That's right. Tharks.
Tharks. I love it. Let's do some tharks.
Ready to thark? Is it a verb?
I think it's like fuck. It's a verb and a noun.
Yeah.
Like I've got some tharks, so let's thark.
Yeah. Let's thark the hell out of
Mothertharker.
this thark.
I feel like jealousy is a big theme here.
Yeah,
there's a love
definitely,
triangle,
definitely.
and love triangles are compelling. They're always compelling. Brian's Corner was almost about movies about love triangles, and I just feel like the jealousy is a huge thing. I think fame, and that is the other side of the coin with jealousy.
Wait, sorry. It occurs to me maybe we should explain what tharks is.
Tharks.
People might be like, what the fuck?
Oh, yeah, that's true. We do have
Sorry
a lot of
about
new
that.
listeners. Our old listeners
do.
know what tharks are.
We do.
Our
We
new
do.
listeners know that we've combined this because we received some very great advice from a review that we got where a guy was like, hey, fuck the that segment. And we were like, okay, we'll try to just do it really quick and combine them together.
The what segment?
That said.
Oh, that segment. The themes and arcs segment.
Yeah. So
Themes
it's
and
themes and arcs.
Yes.
Character arcs.
can't just put out the.
So the way
No,
the
I was
way we
getting
cut-
to it. I was building to it. I was prefacing, and I was trying to comedically, call back to the because I know he's listening. I love you. Thank you for
we
listening.
appreciate you.
We
appreciate
joke
you.
about your feedback, but actually we cherish it. So,
So
thank
the
you
reason,
so much.
so the thing we did was to cut out time is just to only shorten the
name.
themes and arcs name.
And it's going really well.
Going really well.
Going great.
Hey, we
Not
were
to shorten the segment at all.
we were rolling, but then Nick backpedaled into what's it mean.
Hey, but
Literally
I feel like we
just,
needed we get one, maybe even two new listeners per episode. We need to tell them what's up.
I'm running out of tears.
All right. Thank you very much. Jealousy and fame. The power of propaganda, I think, was very, very powerful
That's a good
in
one.
the World War II. Hugely, I never think about how powerful that is, but I think propaganda was it took World War II what social media is today, and there's a lot of that here. You could argue that it kind of swayed the war. I don't know. I'm not a historian. And then revenge, smaller one, but I think that you have the last scene with Vassili defeating Konig because he thinks that Talia is dead, and And well, really, the boy. It's the boy that gets killed.
Yep.
And he's like, and there's a really, really, really great performance between him and Talia that goes from 0 to 60 in a second. And we don't really have a scenes segment, but and I know that kind of we hit that in slow burn, but I want to bring it to our attention right now.
Yeah.
There is a scene in this movie where it's post-coital. It's the next time Talia and Vassili are together. They're laying there. They're kind of having like pillow talk, and then like they kiss and then they hug, and all without cutting. She Rachel Weisz, she shows how pro she is. She turns and she looks and she sees the boy and then looks in the binoculars and just freaks out. And it is amazing acting, but that showcases how important it was that boy was double-crossed and killed by this monster, and now there's this revenge. And I think the revenge fuels, and he also thinks she's dead as well. So I think the revenge is really strong towards the end there. But it only comes up towards the end of the movie. So smaller theme.
Yep.
That's what I had for themes. Did you guys catch any other themes here?
The only other one I'll throw in is maybe sacrifice. I feel like
true. With
there's
what's the guy's name? What's Joseph Fiennes' name in this movie? Do we even
Danilov?
Danilov. Yeah,
yeah.
Danilov's sacrifice for sure. Yeah.
Got one.
Nice.
I'm never good
Way
with
to go.
those.
Nice.
My two themes were propaganda as an ad man. I think that's one of the biggest things that I watch when it comes to war films or anything related to Russia in general, because they were one of the more powerful. Same with Nazi Germany, with propaganda and how to promote themselves and drive themselves to a thing. So I think propaganda was huge. The other one was for country. It's like they're all behind this one effort to win a war. And so I think it's always interesting when you have like an individual story that's super intricate or intimate, and they are doing it for this greater cause, the greater good of their country.
Sacrifice.
Yeah.
So it's
There
very
you go.
Yeah, it's a great word.
There you go.
Yeah.
Thanks, word man.
I think a strong arc was Dalanov and Zaitsev, their relationship. They start out as friends. He saves his life at the beginning, and then he sort of uses him, but then he comes back and kind of sacrifices himself. So that's a relationship arc. But I think Dalanov personally arcs from selfishness. He wants to sacrifice somebody else. He tries to send Vassili out to die, to selflessness, sacrificing his own life. So pretty strong arc there.
What about Major Konig's? Do you think that's an arc by the end where he stays his ground? They made comments about him being a camper sniper. Like he does not move. He will stay there and hunt and wait for that moment endlessly. And by the end, he finally thinks he gets his kill and he comes out to, I don't know if he was fully sure that he killed him. You know what I mean? He still had doubt on his face at Harris.
I think that's just shows his humanity and that he's not perfect, but I don't think it's an arc.
But he was put up as this like endless, killing machine that they, the Germans were already saying that, why are you here? Like you've already succeeded as a German sniper. You have nothing else to prove.
Yeah, that's actually a good point. There's subtlety there.
Yeah.
Because he is told to go home.
Yeah.
That's a good point. I kind of forgot about that. Tharks a lot.
Tharked it up.
Yep.
All right.
Thank you very much.
It is Critical Mess, talking about Enemy at the Gates. We are drinking. We're drinking on some old elk. And it is ambrosial as always. Peerless even. And Brian, what was the new word? Meek?
Meek.
Meek. Sounds weak.
I know. Sounds weak. I mean,
we're working on it.
we need a better word for meek because the meaning of meek.
Yeah, no,
is
I get what you're trying
perfect
to
for
get
old
at,
elk,
though.
but-
There's a certain humility. Yeah.
subtle.
We'll continue to work on it.
What about
I'll tell you what, the
ambrosial?
words are going to get a lot better when we get that bottle of Infinity Blend.
Old elk? What the fuck?
And my personal adjective is buttery. You guys don't need to. That's mine. It's for me. Okay?
Yeah.
Me and Old Elk, just the two of us. When we're together, just he and I, she and I. I throw out the word buttery, and I get a nod back in return.
Anywho, we're going to a place with a song.
Buckle your seatbelt, Doris.
Speaking of.
Oh my gosh.
Speaking of.
Inadvertently.
You guys, I swear this. I didn't force this for the podcast, but the setting of that tractor factory. And for some reason, it reminded me of the sets when they were on the ship Nebuchadnezzar and the Zion dock in the Matrix.
It can't be.
It just did.
It can't be.
You know how they're dirty in the Matrix?
How
They
did
kind
that
of
just happen?
They
How did he
literally
do
have.
that?
They got dirt on
You
their
didn't
face.
know that you knew that.
I've seen two movies with
Amazing.
faces that have dirt: The Matrix and Enemy at the Gates. Boom! I connected them. All right. Anyway,
I just didn't reach far enough on the pad.
It's a good effort.
Yeah.
Hey, I just this isn't a real deep one. I had such a visceral reaction to this movie as far as just the feeling of it and the tactile nature of it and just the sound. Like we're watching it right now without the sound, but the sound design in this movie and the score,
It's really good.
so good.
Really
it's so satisfying. What's the score? Yeah.
So foreboding.
Okay. But no, just the all the time somebody grabs a rifle and you just hear the chinking and the cocking of all that stuff. Anyway, so I just thought, and we talked about, what's our favorite war movie that's not World War II. And the reason we omitted World War II is because we can all agree that World War II is the best subject matter for war movies. I mean,
it's just so rich.
It's so rich.
Yeah.
And I mean, like the top 10 movies would be World War II if we did not omit World War II. It's just such an interesting time. It's recent enough to be modern, but yet far enough away to where we've been able to reflect and see the fallout, long term of it and everything. So I just wanted to talk about 10 things that I love in World War II movies. And they're not ranked. It's just 10 things. And I'm just going to list them. And sorry, Ben, I just hit the microphone and Ben looked at me like he was going to murder me. But you guys, I remember at the beginning of this movie where there's the map and you see it's kind of animating and you see the German territory spreading.
Yep.
I love when there's a map where you can see the enemy territory spreading.
Me too.
Indiana
Me
Jones.
too.
It reminded me of Indiana Jones.
Any map.
Yeah.
Any map.
Yeah.
But
Just that red just
when you see,
creeping across.
ooh, baby.
Oh, yeah. It's always red.
It's ominous, baby.
Pushing back the blue.
Pushing back the blue or whatever, yeah. I love giant headlines in physical newspapers. We don't get that as much these days, but you just got this huge, whatever it is, the big black ink. I love people, soldiers or whoever, kind of rolling up and smoking a homemade cigarette that you kind of see them
all of them
make the cigarette,
hand-folded or
they
rolled.
lick it and they smoke it, and they're getting that little 30 seconds of bliss before they go back and put their life on the line. I don't know, great stuff.
Well, they had the discussions in this where they knew they were going to die. They were all on a mission to die.
It's crazy. Can you imagine the camaraderie you'd have with your countrymen if you just knew, you talk about the
trauma
foxhole.
bonding.
I've never been in war. What in the hell would that be like? That's strong. You guys, okay, this is not a joke. Okay, this is real. And I'm not trying to be insensitive here, but swastikas, swastika. How do you say that word?
Swastikas.
Schmear.
Swastikas.
The swastika is such an interesting thing because it's so not allowed, right? It's banned in, I know computer games, video games with swastikas aren't even released in German, things, that kind of thing. And it's very, very, very
taboo.
Very taboo, but yet it's so striking and it puts you exactly at a specific time in a specific place. And that it's not, I think a swastika is not a symbol of German superiority. I think it's a symbol of Germany being defeated. Because anytime we ever see a swastika now, it's in a movie or something where Germany loses.
Where a bad guy loses.
Yeah. So I'm not saying that we should bring back the swastika at all. I'm saying that when I see it, it's such an interesting symbol and you know what you're getting. You're like, all right, here we go.
It's no longer
about to fuck up some Nazis.
It creates a reaction.
It creates a reaction.
It's incredible because it's just the historical meaning of it, and then how much it meant power and control, and now it means the complete opposite.
Yeah.
And it's
it's always amongst gray, dingy, brown, black war, and then you get this red striking swastika, and it just adds to sort of the whole.
The little cutscene where General or what is it, Konig or whatever, he's pulling out his pens and he's rubbing his hands over the top of the symbol, he's just cherishing it still, and he's just getting ready to put it back onto his uniform.
Like the metal.
Yeah.
That's good. I'm just going to say typewriters. I don't think anybody exists. I don't think any kind of monster would say they don't love a typewriter.
Yeah.
That was number 5. Number 6, when the camera looks through the lens of a sniper's scope. Always satisfying. Love it. Love it.
These
a lot
are
of
good
that
dirty scopes in this film.
Yeah.
They
Really
weren't
good, really
clean
good stuff.
cut.
I love loading guns. I'm not a gun guy, but the sound and the tactileness of hearing and seeing a gun being loaded, really good stuff.
The bolt action.
Oh,
too.
the bolt. That first scene when he murders the general and all those guys.
He's got the little clip of 6 and he puts it in.
And then he licks it. He goes, and then he licks his thumb, and then
Next one, German uniforms. Guys, I feel like I need to balance this out because I'm sounding like some kind of a fanboy. I'm down with Germany. Good job in World War II. But the German uniforms are amazing.
big fan.
Well, I don't think anyone disputes that the Nazis, were good at fashion, right?
I feel like that's from a movie or something.
Didn't they have somebody professionally, a professional designer design their outfits or something?
Yeah, they were very fashionable.
Yeah, I think I've heard
horrific monsters.
Yeah, they absolutely.
But
the black uniforms they had, the gray ones they have here.
They look like they were ready for the catwalk.
They're amazing.
Yeah.
Great costume design here. 2 more. Officers talking war strategy over vodka and cigars in a dim back room somewhere. Just love it. Love whenever that happens. And the last one, just picture this, guys. This is in every awesome World War II movie. A huge ornate ballroom with a general sitting at a solitary table in the far corner, and someone has to walk really far across the room to talk to him. You guys tracking with
Always
that
fun.
at all? Like a repurposed sort of ballroom that's now like a war room. An important man sits and makes decisions.
I can see it.
That's amazing. I love it. Bonus, closing a dead person's eyelids.
Yeah, that's a thing.
It's in every movie. Why?
Yeah.
That's it, guys. 10 things I love about World War II movies. Did you guys, anything specific jump out to you guys about World War II movies? Things that you love?
Yeah, I like the typewriters. Ding.
I think it's the sounds. The sound editing in this was really well done. Ironically, because they're snipers and they need to stay quiet, there was still a ton of clamping, and their guns were still wrapped in towels. And
Remember the room full of ladies on typewriters in Saving Private Ryan when they're like all typing the things, and then the one lady figures out that there's the 4 Ryans, and she goes and alerts the people. Great stuff.
Or the imitation game.
Oh yeah, that's
They have
another good one.
that whole room.
Oh, the
of
adding machine?
the ciphering.
I was gonna-
the ciphering women.
Yeah,
the women that would like intercept code and then type it out.
I was going to include a patch room where like there's operators like patching through
with the-
things.
yeah.
it's
But
also
that wasn't
really good.
quite. It didn't quite make my short list. Thanks, guys. Thanks for
So-
joining me at Brian's Corner.
You want to hear something I found out?
Oh, we still have it. We're still. You guys are welcome to
Sorry.
stay in Brian's Corner a little bit.
stay in Brian's corner.
Five more minutes, then get the hell out.
There was rumors that Hugo Boss was in charge of making the uniforms for the Nazi Party.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah, they
Wow.
literally were like very invested in fashion.
I
Yes.
guess I didn't know that.
They had,
Yeah,
I was.
There's a
like,
reason their
fuck-
uniforms stand out to me.
Fuck Nazis.
Fuck
Absolutely.
Fuck Nazis. But
Just for the
fashion-
record, we are saying fuck Nazis.
fuck
Nazis.
Nazis.
We have a staunch no Nazi
but
policy.
they do just have a certain. They're ready for the catwalk.
Can we
That's all I'll say.
real quick? I know we're kind of joking, but can we all like prove how much we say fuck Nazis as a group? Our Critical Mess top 100 combined list movies of all time. The number 1 movie on that list is a movie where Hitler gets shot in the face like 1,000 times, and
in the most
everyone revels in it.
satisfying way possible.
Inglorious Bastards is our number 1 best
right.
movie of all time.
Right.
And that's how
America.
much we say fuck
America,
Nazis.
motherfucker.
America, bitch.
Yeah.
I haven't said anything, but yes, fuck Nazis.
Just Gris does have German ancestors here, so
He
you know
he does have an Oma.
he is an Oma.
Oma, I love you.
You know, thank you for stating that for the record, Gris.
I have to.
Oh gosh. All right, guys. Well,
All right, guys. Well, I look forward to. Hey, by the way, I'm going to go put some hot pockets in soon here. So
Ooh.
thanks for joining me in Brian's Corner.
What
Whoa.
happened there?
That was crazy.
Sorry,
That
I
was
won't
freaky.
do that next time. I just kind of wanted to see if I could hit the notes.
Okay, well, Brian alluded to it, but there's a certain segment. So when we get to this certain point in the show, right, and we start talking about this segment, right, and we kind of start talking about it real slow, right?
Slow burn.
Right, because that's what it's called sometimes. But sometimes, and we're sorry if you've never listened to us before. You're gonna be like, "What the fuck's going on here?" But you know, we rename the segment like every few episodes, and sometimes it's called. The one I liked was Crossfire.
Crossfire! You'll get caught up in it.
Crossfire is good.
Crossfire was good.
What about Mr. Burns?
I don't remember that one.
No, I just made that up.
That's a new one though.
Just thinking of things with burn in it.
Yep. What else?
Oh, it was Saltburn one time. Remember we Saltburn?
Yeah.
We salt burned it a little bit.
Saltburned a little bit. Oh, it was rapid fire. Did we say rapid fire already?
No.
That's how it started. Rapid
That's how it
fire. This
started.
is our rapid fire segment. We rapid fire through all the random things we have. Grizz now has the old elk just to his lips on the bottle.
Yeah,
Straight
just
from the
straight
bottle.
Where
from
we're
the
at.
bottle. It's mother's milk. So yeah, what's this segment called?
Cross.
I don't know.
Hot
Hot Pocket.
Hot Pocket.
Damn it. Yes, that's what it's called right now. It's called Hot Pocket. So because we get deep into these Hot Pockets and, you know, things happen. So, Lordy, where do we even begin here with this Hot Pocket tonight? So, yeah, I like to start at the top. And I want to talk about that opening sequence. the wolf hunting opening, right? There were a couple of really nice touches in that sequence, I thought, actually, and I thought it was a strong opening. One thing I really liked about it was that transition from kind of Jude Law's narrative voiceover transitioning into the grandpa kind of saying out loud the instructions for sniping, like put the snow in your mouth, cover your breath, and like all that stuff. Like that was just I thought it was a cool opening scene, and I loved how much work that scene did. Like we didn't learn anything else about his shooting training, right? We just got right into the war after that, and I kind of appreciated that very quick jump from, okay, this guy got some training as a kid to now we're in the war and he's going to kick some ass. So I don't know. Opening, guys, did it do it for you? What did you think?
Were there 2 vignettes of that?
Yeah, they came back later and showed that he actually failed, and the grandfather had to fix it, which I thought was a nice touch.
I also like that. Yeah.
Cool. Within less than the first 30 minutes of this movie, you have the flashback to the kid, and then you have him going through all the stuff and becoming a war hero. Very efficient storytelling in the first 30 minutes, and I think that opens it up for the cat and mouse game and the love story to take place throughout the rest of the movie. So again, very efficient without feeling rushed, and I did love how that started. I actually was kind of bummed out when I rewatched it. I was like, oh yeah, there's this stuff when he's a kid. Like, I just want to get into it, but they didn't dwell too long.
No,
and I liked it.
Yeah,
it was nice. That beginning scene and then the intro into the actual 6 kills. That was great.
So the music, guys, we got to talk about the music because it is. That's like reaching for it.
Did you guys like the theme by James Horner?
Oh man, did I? It's like you can't. I mean, you'll always, if you ever hear that little horn riff ever, you immediately are like enemy at the gates. Immediately, I will. And when I'm 90 years old, God willing, if you play me that horn riff, I will be like, that is enemy at the gates.
And this is the type of movie that you need to have James Horner score because James Horner is a very romantic composer, and he's very melodic, and you need that when you've got a love story. And you look at another great movie that has war and love equally is Braveheart, and he scores that film magnificently. I think he should have won an Oscar for that. There are some borrowing from the themes from that to this. There's a lot of really close, and that and Glory, I think, are in Legends of the Fall to a certain extent, but he does kind of reuse some stuff. But I think he's absolutely the right composer for this movie.
And I loved how there were like no deviations from like we didn't get any, rock music or, a dance track. It was just all this heavy orchestral stuff and kind of in this Soviet style. It had a nice way of like feeling sort of Soviet in the sort of the chanting. And it was really, really good, I thought.
It's interesting. We've jokingly repeated the sound over and over again, but I don't think it felt repetitive in this.
No, I don't.
In any way, shape, or form. And I also appreciate that they kept it to a specific tone rather than by the end they ramp it back up and use more of a palette, like a full orchestra and a whole everything. They just kept it pretty muted.
I will say it was not hard to find that sound effect though. Like it was quite a few places.
Yeah. I don't want to go too far down the music nerd rabbit hole because I could do a whole podcast just on film score. Matter of fact, I subscribe to several podcasts that are just film scores. But I think that James Horner is the master of scoring a sort of foreboding, ominous, bad ending. Not bad ending, but sad ending soundtrack. I mean, Braveheart and Titanic both have just like dreadful endings, and they tug at your heartstrings, and James Horner scores those both so amazingly. Not Gladiator, but Glory is another one where people die, and his scores are just something about the way he does melodies and the way he uses like the bells and things. It's just perfectly suited, and that's all I'll say. I think he was perfect for the job here.
My favorite adjective used there is foreboding.
Okay,
that's for this movie. It was just like you just felt like always an artillery explosion or a sniper shot. It was always on the horizon. It was always coming. Death was always there.
That's why I thought Vassili was going to die.
Yeah. Great music. Okay, so one thing I want to bring up here on kind of a serious note, right? The idea that that I think it says in a piece of dialogue that the fate of the world is being decided at Stalingrad, right? So this is a real situation. This act, and obviously there's been some embellishments here, but this, to some extent, really happened. This really went fucking down.
Yeah,
like really went down, which is just crazy to think about. and I guess my question is like, how much more does that for you guys make the movie more powerful, more engaging? Does it add something? Does it not matter that much? I'm curious.
I think it adds a lot. If it's a true story, I am fascinated by it and I want to read more about it afterwards. So I think that gives me more reason to enjoy a film. So I think I like that.
Yeah, I think you hit it. It doesn't necessarily add to the movie for me as much as it makes me want to go explore.
It adds to the
more.
experience, my experience of the film.
Yeah, it makes me want to go explore this story more because like the fact that it happened, the movie could have been completely fabricated and I'd be totally fine with it. But I think it just makes me want to go, oh, let me read on Stalingrad. That's interesting to me.
Mm-hmm.
Can I ask what you guys feel between biopics and movies like this? Like, because for biopics, like for instance, Maestro,
Yeah,
you guys were like, this is not a great story. I forget exactly what you said, but like you didn't care that it embellished, but like you also were like, I'm not too hot on biopics.
So I can answer that by saying, for me personally, I don't really. I am more interested in historical events rather than historical people.
I see. Okay.
So geopolitics, geography, wars, things that happened are much more interesting to me than just a person.
Yeah, and that was one person rather than, I mean, countless people were highlighted in this film.
Yeah, this is definitely not a
You know what I
biopic
mean? Yeah.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that was just kind of
I think a
thing.
biopic focuses on the person, and something like this, which could have been a biopic because it's about a guy,
Yeah.
and he's the main character,
Right.
and he's a real guy, and he really happened, but it didn't focus on him. It focused on everything else. You know what I mean? So
Right.
yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
That's just my
I was
opinion.
wondering just the difference for you guys.
All right, Critical Mess, new Hot Pocket. What flavor are we on? Just the sausage?
Chocolate?
Remember the sausage ones?
Yeah, the sausage ones were always kind of nasty.
You never knew what you were going to get.
I mean, what was that?
Sometimes
Sausage.
you'd kind of get into the sausage
It was not
itself. and-
sausage.
It was.
It was a pork product,
You know, here's my question.
pork based.
Did you ever have the meatball ones? Because there's sausage
yeah.
and then there's the meatball.
Yeah, the meatball is
I
even
think
worse.
No, I think the meatball wasn't quite as sketch. The sausage was a little bit. I don't know what's in here.
Did they have a vegetarian Hot Pocket?
Oh no.
They do.
Sorry, guys.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
Well,
now I bet they
They
do.
didn't
They
then.
sure as fuck didn't in the 90s.
They sure did.
That was, yeah. No
It was
fucking
full
way.
meat or no.
Yeah. Anyways, we're talking hot meat, and we are here. And we are here at Critical Mess.
Speaking of hot meat, I can't wait till we get to the.
we're Brian.
This is
not
too slow
there
of a burn.
yet.
This is not too slow. There's a lot of movie
No,
left.
guys, we're talking accents. We're going to talk accents now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because this is a topic that I knew we would just have to cover. We've got a lot of Brit talk for the Russians, a lot of weird German kind of talk. There's no consistency to the accents except for everyone's got a weird one. I'm going to be just my immediate reaction. It didn't bother me that much, but it also, I noticed it. And it was kind of weird, but I was like, whatever.
I'll give you my experience. Didn't take me out of it at all. I'd rather see somebody do a great acting performance in their own accent than force something and have a lesser performance. That's why when I watch movies with subtitles, I don't watch the dubbed version because I want to get whatever that actor's performance is in whatever tongue it's in. I want that. So I'm fine with it here. That being said, as soon as we got to Bob Hoskins, who was the only person in this movie that I really feel like stretched himself and went Russian. He wasn't like
It wasn't.
no, I'm not
wasn't
saying he had a
heavy.
Russian
Borderline.
accent. I'm not saying he had a Russian accent. Like
was-
I told Ben before we recorded, it wasn't like Famke Janssen from GoldenEye, which she fucking killed it in GoldenEye with the Russian accent. He didn't do that, but his mannerisms and his inflections were not Who Framed Roger Rabbit. They were Russian war general. And I did not get that from the British guys and Ed Harris. And so I'll say, as soon as I saw Bob Hoskins doing that, that was the first time where I thought, well, maybe something could have been added to this movie had they been trained with accents.
But the
and
chances
gone
of
for
them
it.
Yeah.
being trained, I think it would have just. I actually appreciate that it. I like it when movies just don't do it. Especially this film was obviously a lot of U.S. and British actors, so it's like It would have just killed it if they're all trying to mimic a Russian accent, especially if they're going too
think
high or too low.
Ron Pearlman having a Russian, that would have been cool. That would have just made his character
Just bring
even
in
more
one
baller.
guy. Just
Because
bring
he was
one-
already awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about him. Short-lived performance.
Yeah.
All right. Man, the whole Danilov or however you say his name and Vassili kind of the spelling bee scene, right?
Oh, right.
With their kind of, which was effective at establishing like a crack in their relationship, right? That was kind of
because
interesting.
doesn't old girl come in and then he really tries to
He's
play
like,
up that this guy can't spell
H-O, and
Yeah,
he's like,
I know.
no honor.
That was good. Good storytelling there.
It was, but it was also sort of. I know we're not allowed to say this word anymore. I learned this last episode, but is it? Can you say it's? You can say it's cringy, right? Cringy.
I can't
No.
say that anymore.
You can't even say that.
No,
Oh, shit.
I can't say
didn't
that around my
Ben,
child.
edit this out. Edit this out.
just to be clear,
What do you say?
we can't say that was cringy or that was cringe.
No, that's the
we
one I thought that was
No,
worse.
we can say I was cringing.
Okay.
That's from
But
my
isn't cringe
studies and
worse?
research of my son. You can say I was cringing. That's okay.
But is saying that was cringe worse than saying that was cringy? Which one is more cringe?
I think both of those are
Both
equal.
equally. Just
Yeah,
say that
I-
was
equal.
sus.
I've seen both
they're both-
visceral reactions from my 11-year-old
They're
son.
both sus.
Right now, there's saying cringe is sus.
Yeah. Okay. So they're both capping.
No cap.
No cap. No cap. I'm so sorry, Crosby.
Jeez. Okay. Ed Harris rolling in on that train,
Yeah.
What
That
a
was a great
shot.
scene.
on that passenger car.
The lighting in that shot was really well
Yeah.
done.
Well, give it to me in one word.
Actually, I have two, but I actually wrote it down. Fuck me, Ed Harris.
Well, sure. How about just fuck?
Yeah.
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 It was such a well-timed shot.
I think for me, it was more like an oh shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm going boss.
Yeah, boss is great.
I was kind of hoping for just a bit more intensity out of the guy.
I love how he just
But-
rolls that curtain down.
And also let's talk Ed Siggs, right?
I wrote
Oh,
down
yeah.
Sig opening
Yeah.
scene. It's just
I mean,
Doesn't Jude Law try to pick one up and smoke
well, he
it?
smokes it.
He does
Yeah, he
smoke
lights it
it,
up. Yeah, he does. He wants
just to see what
yeah.
it is. Yeah, how to
And
feel.
I like that. That was
Yeah,
good.
That was nice.
Yeah, I like some good smoking in this.
I love
movie.
that. Oh, yes.
The smoking,
Yep.
I mean,
Hey.
smoking is like 5 points for me, like plus.
Nick.
Like if you just smoke on screen, like that's +5.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up because it's been really hard for me to not talk about this by now. But you guys, there's one scene in this movie that stands above the rest.
I thought for sure you're gonna be. There's this one scene in The Matrix. And
No.
okay.
No,
He
there's
has
actually
said that before. He has said
there's
that
actually
before.
not any smoking in the Matrix, is there? No, the Oracle smokes like a
Oracle
boss.
smokes, yeah.
She smokes really well. So let's talk about the Oracle in the Matrix, you guys. I'm just kidding. No, so you guys set me up on that. There's a scene in this movie, and it's my favorite scene of the entire movie. Here's what it is. It's exactly an hour and 23 minutes in and 15 seconds. Okay. We have not made it there yet in this movie. It's a scene where Rachel Weisz or Weisz?
Weisz.
Rachel Weisz. She's staring at Jude Law, and she's sort of, her eyes are darting from his eyes to his lips and back again. And she smokes a pre-roll cigarette that she just made, and she fucking inhales it as she stares into him through her nose like an absolute professional.
The French inhale.
It was, and it was at that moment where she realized that she was in love with him, and I think he realized he was in love with her. And just the way she smokes that homemade cigarette is, I probably rewound that scene like 6 or 7 times and watched it. So subtle and so good, and maybe the most sexy.
HOT.
So hot. So yeah. Anyway, the answer to your question. There is some damn good smoking in this movie. There's not the fake,
Yeah.
let me just puff it in my mouth and blow it out. There's some inhaling.
Do you notice that we just saw the scene, but I did notice this is like the prop guy that loves to look at little details. But did you notice all their cigarettes are just Bible paper or book paper
it's
or
like
any paper
whatever
they
they
can
had.
find? And it's
Yeah.
just so visceral, and like his hand shaking as he's putting the tobacco in it, and he's trying to close it, and he just drops it all because he's so panicked. It's like all he wants is that release from that cigarette.
But he's shaking because his friend just died. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hot pocket in here on critical mess.
Cow mess.
Brian, this one's for you.
Okay.
Especially. We see him a couple times. What's with those 2 horny snipers that are always kissing?
Wait. Nick.
Talk to me about it, man.
Are you
Because
talking?
it happens a couple times.
Are you talking about Talia? And
No, I'm absolutely not. I'm
Who the
talking
hell
about
are you
the
talking about?
Two horny snipers that are always kissing, Brian.
Wait.
It happens several times. They both get shot in the head. They both die. One of them dies with Jude Law. The woman dies with him, and then the guy gets blasted just by himself when the woman runs off with Jude Law. But they're kissing a bunch.
They're kissing?
Of man, like 3 times.
He doesn't care about
I don't care about kissing.
don't care about
that's
kissing?
right. Okay, never. I forgot you didn't care about it.
I don't care about kissing.
Ben really wanted me to bring that up.
Did they really?
yeah.
What did that really happen?
You don't remember this?
What the fuck?
I'm actually not kidding right now. There was like these snipers making out multiple times.
Amazing.
You're making this up. You're trolling
I'm
me.
absolutely not. I wish we were at that point in the film. One of them gets blasted in the head by Ed Harris.
Are you talking about in the department store when she like freaks out?
Kind of near it's in the end of the first third of the movie.
Yeah.
It's like end of Act 1.
In the department store, right?
I believe so, maybe.
She kissed somebody?
She's kissing that dude a bunch of times. They're
What
smooching
dude?
all
What
over-
dude? I don't believe
know.
you. You're
He's
talking about some
he's
dude.
a-
What dude?
He's some swarthy man.
Neo
He's
from the
just kind of
Matrix.
a-
God damn.
Swarthy man. Okay,
Yeah.
I'll have to watch it again. I
Well-
did not notice.
they're just they're
Clearly.
smooching all over the place.
Clearly,
like
I
you
don't care.
about it.
I
So
just don't care about it. I see it. I'm like, that's
That's
fine.
Oh man. Okay. Can we talk about that child?
Oh,
Ugh.
little boy.
Yeah, downer, right?
Yeah.
It's
Way
always
to bring
sucks
us
when
down,
some
Nick.
stupid kid is a plot point. Doesn't
Well,
that suck?
it sucks, but like I think it was used really well
Yeah,
because
no,
like,
because they hung him at the end.
well,
Wow.
Hanged.
I mean,
hanged.
Nick
hanged.
is
Hanged.
definitely
You're our
been
wordsmith.
hitting the old elk tonight.
Can you tell who the professional writer is in the group?
Thank you for correcting.
Here's the kid on cue right now on camera. Here's why I thought it was good. Because I wasn't sure whose side he was on. I wasn't sure if he's a kid, so he's easily swayed, and he's like enamored with like the whole Hitler Youth, I want to work for the enemy, or if he he kept going back and forth, and I never was sure whose side he was on. So I think that was cool.
That is an interesting piece of history because a lot of people would be migrating through these areas, and they would be children, women, fathers, husbands, sons, whatever, and they would grab them, especially children, and try to sway them back to the party that they're going into to kind of. So
And clearly his mom was. That was much better than death when she, remember, because he dies, and they don't tell the mom he dies. They tell her that he went over to the Germans, and she was almost like, okay, well, maybe he'll be okay. And it's like, I almost,
because she thinks they're going to win.
I first
You know
thought
what I mean?
like, wow, it'd be better for him to die than to go to the Germans. But then it's like, she was actually happy that he didn't die.
because he
and go
would
to the
live a
Germans.
better life, or
So-
live not a better
Yeah,
life.
so
but
that's
he would
definitely
live.
a thing. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's an interesting conundrum. They could have spent a lot more time on that, and they didn't. And I'm glad they didn't, but I'm glad it was there.
I don't think it showed me it wasn't like a heartbreak for the child. It was more just how dark that fucker was to do that.
Yeah.
I think that's what I saw out of it.
Yeah, I just don't like children. I don't want them to die. Let's be very clear about that.
Let's be very clear.
Nick, what are your
children-
thoughts on Kindergarten Cop?
But no,
Have you ever seen that?
yeah, it's good.
Tulma.
Because I actually just watched that for the first time.
Yeah, it's,
And I now I know where the tumor reference comes from.
Tulma.
There were some like really precious children.
it's actually a pretty good movie.
Yeah,
it's actually
yeah.
like a pretty well written.
It's fine.
movie.
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. Back to the Matrix.
Yep. Okay. Ron Perlman.
Awesome.
Ronnie,
Awesome.
brilliant
Well
with
cast.
the silver grills.
Oh my God. His teeth. Unbelievable.
So amazing.
He's always good.
We only got him for like 8
Not
minutes.
enough.
Yeah, less than 10 for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
kind
it
of
was bad.
unfortunate because he was a really good side character.
Yeah, I think he could have been around for longer. I think they could have done some stuff with him. I don't really know what. I guess he could have been the comedy relief to a certain extent.
I
'cause he
thought
kinda
it was a tiny bit, but I also was expecting more from his character because they described him as like the guy that knew everything about the Konig character. They were like, oh, he's seen him work before. He's seen him shoot before. He knows his character. I was expecting him to like feed a little bit more information about him. And they kind of did with the helmet where he had the helmet on string. And he's pulling it up and down inside the window. And he's like trying to get the sniper to pop a shot off from the helmet. And he's like, I think he could tell that he knew that wasn't going to work. And he knew it while doing it. And he was teaching.
Yeah.
That's the only moment that I saw that was like, I guess worthwhile. But yeah, he was on screen for definitely less than 10 minutes.
How about the death scene with him? I thought it was awesome.
Yeah, the way he turns after he's shot and like kind of looks in the direction of the shooter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, and they jumped that twice in the movie, correct?
I'm not sure if it's that same gap, but was it the
same
same
gap.
one?
It's the same gap because they go through that.
and
They
then they jump
go
back.
through the same path where they're going through the same buildings.
Oh yeah,
the same
because
tunnels.
the third friend is the one that kind of gives them away.
Yes,
Yeah,
so
that's
I
right.
think that's the interesting thing about the Koenig guy is he's watching all these spaces. He knows where those shots are going to happen, and he waits for them to go. Like he watches all of them go through every space, and then he goes and takes the shots of all of them through the same space, which is kind of respectable. I mean, that's pretty wild.
Why is Rachel? What is it? Weisz? Did we figure this out?
Weisz. Because I was saying Weisz.
Weisz.
I was just proud of myself for knowing that Joseph Fiennes. It's pronounced Fiennes. So
Fiennes.
that's
Very good.
that's my win tonight. So Weisz, whatever.
Well, why is she like the perfect like hot old school hot
Yeah.
chick? You know, like you don't put her in like a new like a club scene. You know, in like 2020. Or
Yeah,
well,
she's
maybe
not-
a bad
she's
year.
not,
but
like, real versatile.
2024.
2020.
Right. Yeah, but
She's classic hot.
But like you put her in like The Mummy, right? Some old school shit, some World War II shit like
also
this.
taking
God,
place
she's
in,
just gorgeous.
But
she's perfect.
But she's
for
never
this.
been like in has she ever been like in a romantic comedy? I feel like she's a dramatic actress.
I don't
And
know.
I agree
but-
with you. I don't know if she could. I don't know if she is. So this is not a bad thing to say about her at all because I think I like the fact that she's classically hot, but I don't think you could put her in a funny, fun, hot club scene, right?
She was in
Why?
I
The
don't-
Lobster.
Yep,
Yeah,
she
I know,
was.
and she was
I've
great
never
in The
seen it.
Lobster.
Yep.
She was in,
Yeah.
She's great in that.
Great. She's in the
It's
Ringers.
like
or
she's
whatever
got
it was.
this like certain sort of like modesty or something, you know, that just like plays well with the older generation. She
Yeah.
feels like
it's an innocence. It's a very
I don't know what it is, but anyways, I
I
never
agree.
like,
I agree with innocence.
Yeah, that's a
because she was a very innocent character in The Mummy.
well, she wasn't too innocent in this one. I feel like that she I didn't
she was very shocked.
She was in Definitely Maybe.
yeah, right.
That has
That.
Ryan Reynolds in it.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe I need to see that because I am a fan of her.
Right.
What else is she in? I feel like there's
Envy.
another.
Whenever
banger.
I've seen this movie a bunch of times and I never really thought
About a boy.
Okay,
that's
okay.
actually I actually really like that
it's a
movie.
good movie.
And I never really thought a whole lot of her in this movie, but she was I enjoyed her performance.
You know what's funny?
Last night.
As a 17-year-old youth, when I saw The Mummy, the most attractive person in The Mummy was that Egyptian princess chick with like the hair painted on her.
Yeah.
Now, when I watch it,
Oh, definitely. It's
Rachel Weisz is,
Yeah.
is leagues above.
Stunner.
Yeah.
Weird.
Yeah.
She's beautiful.
Yeah.
She really is, and I can appreciate it now.
Yep.
I appreciate it so much.
in our old age.
Yeah.
Who are we going to like when we're 80? We're going to be
Still
like...
Rachel Weisz.
Yeah,
Still Rachel
Maybe
Weisz.
Rachel Weisz. Yeah, Weisz.
Yeah.
Rachel Weisz.
It's just a certain class.
We're still
Nobody
doing this
does it
podcast
like-
80 years later.
She peaked in 2043.
Okay. All right. All right.
Nobody holds a candle to Rachel Weisz.
Guys.
Our new segment.
Ingrid Bergman had nothing.
Yes. It's time for a new Hot Pocket.
Okay. All right.
do you
Let's
got?
move on. Let's go to the ham and Swiss.
Let's do it. Joseph Fiennes. Overdoing it.
Overdoing it. Yeah.
Overdoing it big time, I
Yep.
thought.
Yep.
Felt like he was
He
kind
milked
of
it.
on a stage. Felt like, and I guess he is like a stage actor. And I could kind of see that. He felt a little unnatural. Felt like more of a play, kind of with how dramatic
Yeah.
he was. I could like tell he was a good actor, but it was kind of like, yeah, he was overdoing it.
And do you think that was enhanced by how subtle Jude Law and Ed Harris's performances were? Because they were not overdoing
I
it
think
at
so.
all.
I believe so.
It is weird that those two were so subdued in this film
Yeah.
that it made everyone else seem so,
Overacting.
theatrical, like with their performances.
Yeah.
I did read that they hired, or the reason they picked Jude Law and Ed Harris was because of their facial expressions. It wasn't necessary. I mean, it was because they're great actors, of course, but like also because they could have a one shot on their face and they could display a range of emotions that most actors couldn't do.
Wow, cool.
Yep. I believe that.
And they both look really great staring down the scope of a sniper rifle.
Yeah, how many
Yeah.
times have we seen Ed Harris in a uniform?
Oh, man.
Is he the best looking actor in a uniform? Nazi or not,
Or otherwise.
or otherwise?
Maybe.
You know what I mean?
Best looking actor
I
in
mean,
a
when I saw him in
uniform.
Maverick, Top Gun Maverick. I was like, fuck me, dude, he's still rocking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He looks like he could give
be.
an order.
Yeah.
A strong order.
Yeah.
I would pee a little if I met him, for sure.
So many hot women in the Russian army in this movie.
That's
just like how it was?
That's historical.
That's normal.
The Soviets
That's how it
sent
was.
It
the
is normal.
Soviets sent their women to do their fighting,
And they're all just hot.
alongside with the men.
and they're just hot snipers.
I don't know if they're hot, but
Well-
it is very historical that women were soldiers. That's very accurate.
Well, they're very hot in this movie.
Well, I'd like to assume that. Well, it's a movie.
It is.
So
It is. It seemed
It's hot.
It took me out of it a little bit,
Yeah.
but I also didn't mind it. But it took me out.
I mean, if you're gonna put women in a movie, where was I going with that?
where are you
cutting
gonna-
that. I'm cutting
We're
all of
gonna
that out.
I,
think
feel
I-
like there's
I
like
don't want you
there's a
to.
lot that needs to be cut from tonight's episode. Quite a bit.
If you're gonna put a woman in your movie, that's terrible.
Yeah.
Where was I? I don't think that's what I
well.
meant. It's not where my brain was thinking. It's just what the sounds came out were.
Everyone, Brian's he's a good guy.
He's a good,
Vouch
he's
for
a
me,
good
Nick.
person.
He doesn't like the
No, he's a
Nazi
good
party, and
He doesn't.
He does not like Nazis, and he respects women.
yeah.
Yes,
He's
thank you
nodding
guys.
right now. Okay, good.
Thank
He's
you
agreed,
guys.
he's agreed,
Well,
he's
I'm just making sure I add a second filter to every word that I say now. So there's a delay, and there is a delay now.
So
Real quick, can I do a hot pocket on this scene?
Yeah,
We're
hot
watching the
pocket.
scene
Yeah.
where they're in the factory, and one of the factories. I don't
Nice
remember which
reload
one.
right there.
I'm sorry.
Great reload. I wish we almost just want to put the sound on. But anyway,
strong reload.
Jude Law is throwing his pocket knife on a string to try to grab his gun that's out of reach. We just saw it. We saw Jude Law in scene throwing the pocket knife, and it lands on the gun strap, not CGI. How many takes do we think it took to get that right?
17, maybe.
The tension on the knife is
a lot.
totally unrealistic. How could a knife?
Sure.
Yeah, we have
Pull
a
the
knife
weight.
knife
It's so
expert.
fucking rusty.
Sure.
It's so disgustingly rusty.
Nick, I don't know if you know a lot about knives, though. So, maybe you shouldn't talk
Yeah.
about...
I know a lot about butter knives.
Maybe you shouldn't talk about
Yeah,
knives.
it looked like
but,
a butter knife.
No, Nick is the ballot song expert.
No,
but
I do
No,
have an issue.
I just like the fact that we saw him do it,
Yeah.
and they did not get that first try.
This is the scene where I stopped. I think this is about halfway through the movie. I just stopped in the realistic aspect of this film because a couple things happened in this scene. One, Ed Harris is supposed to be this fucking unbelievable sniper, okay? And why did he not shoot the gun?
This is the most unrealistic scene in the movie. I agree with you.
And then
Yeah.
the glass perfectly drops behind, and you have the mirrored effect. I get why they did it, but it just felt so. I don't know. It just felt so stupid. It took me right out of the movie.
But to be fair,
and up until this point, it didn't feel that
the glass dropping and sitting there actually didn't really serve any purpose.
Yeah. Actually, I could see this whole scene get cut.
Well,
way. I don't know if it didn't add any.
Did it add anything?
Well, no,
I think it did.
I think it added a lot.
Yeah.
I think the scene added a lot because of the feel and the vibe
Well, it
of
was
the set.
To me, wasn't it the first time he felt like really vulnerable?
It's the first time they really were like, all right, we both know each other are here.
Yeah.
And it was the closest they got. And you have to, with
see.
a cat and
Okay.
mouse game, you've got to have them get closer and closer
Yeah.
each time. What I'm saying is, I don't think the glass landing the way it did to where
He could see
Konig
him.
could see Vasili's
Yeah.
face. I don't.
Well,
I think that was
it
just
helped with the story because he knew there was another person. He was talking to someone.
Yeah.
He could see that, and he's like, "Okay, there's someone over here. I know there's someone over here. I know he's here." But I
But
think
Talia just grabs a piece of glass and blinds him. I think that's more realistic.
Yeah, that was realistic. I like that. I immediately rewrote this scene in my brain as I watched it, and I was like, "Fuck the glass." If it's just him and he's behind the thing, Konig doesn't know that he's there. The Nazi German doesn't know that he's there. And he's got his gun out and he's like, all right, where did he go? Like, I see his gun, but I don't know where he's at. And I can see the breath. Now, I would have loved to see a handful of snow grabbed and thrown into his mouth so he could continue to hide behind that stove.
Yeah, that'd be a cool callback.
It would have been
Yeah.
an amazing callback, and then he could have hid there a little bit longer before Weisz came in.
See, I just love when you're at not only a beautiful set, but when you spend some time there and you start getting a feel for where everybody's at. And we talked about this with the Burbs when you sort of set up the geography and the proximity of things. And we spend a lot of time in this set going back and forth, and like we sort of get to know it. And it I don't know. It just I think that adds to the memorability of a scene. So yeah, I think the movie needed the scene for sure. I think it was a little unrealistic, but
It's a tactic
wasn't
to
too bad.
I think it's a tactic to show unpredictability. So they show you the first time, everybody jumps through the door, like Ron Perlman jumps over the ledge and he makes it the first time they go through the tunnels and they look up and they're like, oh, it's a dead sniper, got it. So Konig knows by going in the same spot, they'll look up there and say, oh, there's that dead sniper again. They won't think that there's a sniper in that spot. He lays there for a minute and then he goes,
right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think it's just the unpredictability of that set. But I do appreciate that.
I think this one last thing before we move on to the eggplant and artichoke Swiss hot pocket. I think that the sniping is unrealistic. Number one, I don't think Konig's going to hit Ron Perlman jumping across a gap like that. I don't think that's how sniping works. I think there's the bullet needs to travel. You've got to. What is he predicting the future? And
pretty good.
And then here, I don't think Jude Law grabs the gun, stands up, turns around, shoots through the broken louvre, and hits the guy's hand all in. I mean, sniping, I think, is, as is everything in a Hollywood movie, very much simplified. And everything's a headshot. That's just not how it works. You got to account for things. So, but that's okay. I'm fine because the story does not suffer for that here.
I really want you to watch The Wall from 2017.
I'm going to watch it.
I think it's so much.
I can't wait.
You just said that, and it just reminded me of a couple scenes in that movie where they're talking about strategy and they're talking about how to communicate and how to navigate the settings and wind and all these things, and it's so interesting.
Can we real quick all just say who's our favorite sniper of any movie ever of all time? It's Barry Pepper in Saving Private Ryan. There's not another answer.
That is actually
I couldn't remember his name. Pepper, right?
It's the sniper in Saving Private Ryan.
Yeah, is that his name? Pepper.
Barry Pepper is the actor's name.
Okay. I was trying to remember his character name.
You have another one?
I can't.
Bradley Cooper and American Sniper.
No, not as good.
No, I don't think it holds.
He shot so many people.
I know, Ben. I feel like I was so emphatic. I'm just going to shoot down whatever you say, even if it's better.
You're
No pun
sniping.
intended.
You're sniping.
Nothing
I'm
beats
sniping anything that comes my
that
way because Barry
scene
Pepper.
with the tower and him, the look on his face as he knows that he's done.
Yeah.
How about Bruce Willis in The Jackal?
I'm glad you brought the Jackal up because I was talking to somebody about that the other day, and they were like, "What are you talking about?" And I was like, Jack Black's first big movie.
Jack
That's
Black,
before Enemy at the Gates?
an award-winning performance by Jack Black.
Sorry, Enemy at the Gates.
Yeah, Jackal's from the 90s.
I meant
High Fidelity.
no, I meant Enemy of the State.
Kung
Enemy
Fu
of the
Panda.
State.
Isn't he an Enemy of the State?
He is an Enemy of the State.
Yeah.
It's right. It's a contemporary of that film.
Enemy
it's right
at the
around
Gates,
in there.
Enemy of the State.
Of the State.
Yeah.
I know. I was going to make a joke about Enemy of the State, but I thought it was too hackneyed. Yeah, Jack Black, The Jackal. Still not as good, but cool movie.
All right, damn. That was a steak nacho, maybe?
Yeah. Steak nacho. Was there a Mexican?
I feel like I'm hitting the
Was there a
hot
taco?
pocket button a lot.
Pocket?
Well, that's okay.
It's okay. What else do we have?
All right, here's one. So, dramatic pause. So I did not like I thought the love story detracted from the film. Brian, I know you thought it
Between
added.
Konig and the child?
Oh,
Wait, what? Wait a minute.
It got pinned?
the poor child was hanged. Is that how you say that?
Hanged.
Hanged.
Hanged. That poor.
So we're not
poor-
talking about the
Poor Sasha.
the so-called snipers that make out. I still don't believe you guys that was in this
Guys,
movie.
they are kissing
it was
over town.
all kinds
over
of kissing.
Stalingrad.
It was
We're
just
kissing.
a couple pecks. It was
To be
You
clear,
gotta
we're
go back and
talking
watch it.
about
They were tonguing.
Talia and Zaitsev.
They were
Jude
sniping and
Law,
piping, guys.
Rachel Weisz, right?
Just a little.
Come on, guys.
No,
Is that who we're talking about?
No, it's
no.
not.
We're not
What?
talking about them.
No, there was other
No.
snipers smooching, man.
No, there's snipers. There were
did you
so
miss
many
this?
more sex stories in this.
You just said that you thought the love story in this movie detracted from the movie.
Yes.
You're talking about Rachel Weisz and Jude Law.
Oh, yes, I am. Yes, I am.
Okay. Thank you.
But that's not the smooching that we were
No,
talking
I know.
about.
I was joking. Just forget I said that. I'm coming back to your hot pocket. You are saying that you did not like the love story between those two, right?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's correct. But anyways, this is where this hot pocket is going. So in one of their
Oh shit! I
kind of
missed it.
conversations, like this one here, where they're just laughing and smoking
Are they smoking
darts
a weed?
together. No, they're smoking darts, man.
Oh no! Here it comes. Here it
and
comes.
there's this super hot Russian sniper. Other one. Like,
Yeah.
what is? This is not
Russian women are
that has to
famously
be weed,
beautiful.
right?
If you don't know that by now,
Here it
Nick,
comes.
come on.
So we're watching.
So that's how European people grip the cigs.
we're watching now. Best scene in the movie right here.
the-
It's subtle, but just
Yeah, yeah, she knows.
that's
right
it
there.
right
She
there.
knows her way around a cigarette.
Next time, coitus.
Yeah.
Yeah, Brian, I don't even know what to say tonight.
No words needed.
So it's funny because we're in the Hot Pocket talking about the love story, and now we've come across the scene that I've said is the best scene of the movie to me.
Okay.
123:15.
Let's just
Whatever.
long
Like,
pause and just watch the scene
This-
together.
No, we're not going
No,
to. But we are going to do is talk about what they're talking about, which I don't remember if it's this scene or one that's very close to the scene where Vasili's like, Rachel's like, "What's your dream?" And he's like, "My dream's to work in the factory." And she's like,
Yeah?
Yeah, we're all here with you.
That's right. He just, Vasili just wants to work in the factory.
he does.
Yeah.
He wants to be the man at the top.
This is where they're talking
And he
about
wants
that.
to
Yeah.
walk the catwalk and talk to the factory workers. And I just wrote underneath, I hate this. I hated it. I hated that.
Oh, okay.
I hate
You brought that up to hate.
Why'd you hate it?
because it was so fucking dumb. Who wants to work in a factory? That's what he's aspiring to do.
Well, he wanted to be better than all the guys
This is
down there, right?
1942 Russia.
But he wants to work in a factory.
But they're communists. That's all they all do. Is they're all in a factory. Every communist person's in a factory. They're all in a factory.
right.
Might as well be on a catwalk, right?
That's the top of the tier for
I
a
guess just walking.
Russian factory worker.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just like, man,
You
shoot
could-
a little higher.
You could be walking the catwalks by day and sleeping by a boiler under a sleeping bag with Talia by night.
What do you want him to do?
Yeah.
Like what? I want to hear what you
Anything
want
but
him
that.
to do.
Like,
Like,
Russian
get a
pig
boat
farmer?
and sail the seven seas.
Sail the
I don't
Caspian
know. Whatever
Sea.
the fuck he wants to do.
Do mountain
not
climbing
work
in
a
the
factory.
Caucasus.
Not be a button presser at a factory.
They're
I want to work-
they're gritty and dying.
I want to work my way up. I want
to start at the bottom and work my way up.
I want to be middle management.
Just
I don't know. I think it points to him being a simple guy. He's a simple guy.
Simpleton. He's a simpleton.
Well, I'm not going to say simpleton.
He's a hell of a
I
sniper.
say simple guy.
Oh my
He's a
God.
hell of a sniper. He's a simple
hell of a
guy.
sniper.
He's a good man, and he just wants to earn a good living.
He's a nobleman from Bavaria who hunts deer.
Yeah,
What? Yeah, isn't he a farmer or something?
Oh no, it was a shepherd boy from Urals
Shepherd
who
boy,
catches
yeah.
wolves.
Yeah,
That's
you're-
right.
So
you're
I
in
guess
the
I guess a factory worker wouldn't be like that crazy of an idea. For a farmer.
Yeah.
or
In
a-
1942 Russia, calm
in
down.
19
Maybe he wants to own a restaurant or learn the piano. Like something that's like not like I want to.
Russia does not have restaurants.
I want to be a factory boy. I don't understand. I don't get
I
it.
want to dance to Tchaikovsky and be a ballerina.
All right, guys. Now I think this is. I think this now is as good as any.
Oh Lord, I've been waiting on this moment.
And here it comes.
My whole life.
And is it happening on screen right now?
It is happening on
my
screen
God.
on the
I don't know if
88
I'm
inch
not, I'm
television.
not even going to be able to do this right now.
You
We're
would
not
think-
watching it.
You
and
would think that we
talking about
planned
it.
this perfectly.
Let's just talk
But
about
we
it,
did
How
not.
did
okay?
this happen? How did this line, the synchronicity, the universe?
Yeah.
It's all.
So I'm just going to come out of the gate and
we're on
say
alignment.
this is one of the best sex scenes I've ever seen in a movie my entire life.
Oh my God.
I think it's the
And-
worst one I've ever seen.
What?
Yeah, and that's fine, and I think we should get into that because it is interesting. We're joking about this and stuff, and maybe it's cringe and cringy and cringeworthy and spongeworthy
Brian.
and all the things. But
Brian, you can't say that.
Jeez, calm down.
but
Bro.
I will just point out here that there is like little to no nudity in this and no sound. Right, the two things you get a lot of in modern day sex scenes, and yet it's one of the most romantic and like erotic scenes I've ever seen in a movie. You guys, I'm the old elk floweth through the veins, and I'm just telling you how the hot breath. I don't, guys, I don't care about kissing, but this ain't kissing. Their lips, there's the only kiss right there. That's the one we see. The rest of it's all hot breath breathing in each other's mouths, which is
Oh,
fine.
you get a little Rachel Weisz ass crack here.
Which is great. But other than that, I mean, they tastefully cover up. Anyway,
I don't even know
that's
if
my
that's
piece.
Rachel.
I had to get that out before this
that could've been.
degrades, and I want to hear why you did not like the sex scene.
Because nobody likes it. Nobody's enjoying this. I feel like this is just like, and it just goes on, and it goes on. They're still doing it. They haven't even started.
Do you know that every
My
woman
gosh.
who's ever seen this movie
I think
loves
it's-
that scene?
I do.
So you said
It's
no
'cause
one
you
loves
see-
the scene. I just said half the world.
You see Jude Law's dick root.
Barely. Barely.
But bit of a root.
A little bit.
Yeah. And then,
Is that kid? That's not kid.
I mean, I'm sorry, but
I don't care about kids.
Weisz is acting in this moment. Having seen her do that little look to the side as she's smoking the cigarette and seeing him in the scene before, and then the scene after when she's having the dramatic scene when the child dies, this one just threw me for a loop that she looks like she's been stabbed in the chest in a horror film. and her eyes are wide open the whole time. I don't.
Yeah.
Well, I think
buy it.
they're trying to be quiet, and it's hard to be quiet. I'll also say this, for what it's worth, the amount of discussion we're having about this scene. We watched Roadhouse. We've
I'm only
seen
discussing this because you're so visceral with it.
And I'll also say one other thing about it, and then because again, I can see why you wouldn't like the scene. I can see how it would be sus, to use a more
I
hip
feel
word.
like I'm cringing here.
Whoa. Careful with that word.
Also, I don't like that it just ends and then they go into him.
It is kind of weird, but
Yeah,
what do you do? But I will say, I will ask you this about that scene. Can you think, this is a question for the room, can you think of another sex scene in a movie where you get the entire act start to finish? I feel like in most movies, you see it start, and then there's and then it kind of fades, and then you get to the next day.
We got the full,
or you get like the end.
Pre-game.
Have you ever seen a
you got
full
the pregame,
sex
the
scene?
game, and the post
I
game.
gotta
Exactly.
say,
Yeah.
guys, I just watched, and I'm very proud to say I paid $4 for Desperado.
Sorry, I was waiting for something else. Guys,
A Hollywood movie. A Hollywood movie.
Damn it, guys.
Proud to say.
Was there a colon after Desperado?
Yeah, wait a minute. Desperado :
there-
Big
Guys,
Big
I don't know
Daddies.
if you've seen Desperado, but
Yeah.
there's a pretty hot, full, intense sex scene with Selma Hayek.
Selma Hayek.
I would say
Selma Hayek.
Is it
start
is
to
it full?
finish.
That
Is it
is
start to
up there.
finish?
Oh, it's very start
Okay,
to finish.
cool, great. I'm glad you brought that up. Yeah.
And I just want to say, that's a great film.
No, I am not a fan of that movie. Can we think of any other ones? Because I think it's rare. I think it's
rare
well
to see
done.
completion.
Yeah, it's well done.
Matrix Reloaded.
What?
No,
No.
because he can't complete it because he gives up because he's distraught,
Yeah,
and
but
then they end up
we
hugging.
still saw the.
Which,
you know.
let's be honest, that's the worst sex. That's the worst kind of sex scene there could possibly be.
I just wanted to say. I wanted to hear you say something bad about Matrix. So
Ah, shit! You tricked me.
got him,
fucker. Yeah. So anyway, Nick.
Hey,
just,
I respect-
just tell us what you think about.
I
this
respect
scene.
it. I respect it, Brian.
No,
respect
I don't. No, guys, I just can't admit. I mean, it's hot. It's hot.
Yeah.
But I don't. It just makes me uncomfortable.
I
don't like it. I don't like being uncomfortable, guys.
It also
makes me
slightly
uncomfortable.
makes me uncomfortable too. But
Because
like,
but here's the thing. Because they're so nasty.
We have a new soundbite.
oh yes. I mean, you're not wrong.
It is though. They haven't
I feel you.
in years.
I hear what you're saying.
Oh my
disgusting.
god.
I hear what you're saying.
They smell so bad. Who knows
mean,
what's
they're-
going on down there, man?
And we're seeing the guy next to them asleep, and he's sort of like kind of briefly gets stirred, and it's like,
Oh, yeah.
it's like,
His-
don't wake up, buddy, just stay asleep.
And what does that guy smell like?
Yeah,
Like,
I feel good. I feel like we had an intervention or something. This was great.
yeah, well, that was cathartic.
But just to bring us back here, I think that yes, the scene is very memorable for different reasons for different people. But I do want to come back to my point about that scene adds so much to the movie to me because it brings humanity. It's almost like, Nick, you were talking about the scene before that where where they all know they're going to die. Maybe Gris, maybe you were saying that, and it's like, yeah, we're going to die. Let's fuck. I mean, I know that sounds coy, but like that's amazing because like we're humans and that's what we do.
I get it. I get it. I don't want to admit it, but it is actually probably good.
Yeah,
But
it's like
I said, it's just too nasty.
It's like a middle finger to war, it's like putting a flower in the end of a rifle.
It's
It's hard
very-
because I look at sex scenes as like just unnecessary in a lot of movies, but this one I still don't know if it's necessary because there was the scene before it where they have that intimate moment and she's looking at him and you can tell that she has that sexual attraction and she's smoking the cigarette and they're having that convo. So I think since you have that scene, I just don't feel like it's needed. But it's not. It's fine that it's there. I don't.
Yeah.
I don't hate it.
I do appreciate sort of the devil may care kind of attitude. It's just like, let's just fuck
Yeah.
right now. Like, who cares? Like, we're just
And she
in front of
initiates by
all
walking.
these people.
Yeah.
I'm coming around, guys.
Yeah.
I'm coming around.
Yeah.
I'm
But
gonna
it
have
still
to-
makes me uncomfortable, guys. I don't like it.
Sure. Agreed. Yeah.
Our score's
I'm
going to change.
conflicted.
Our score's going to change this movie.
Nope. We're
You
even
don't
in
think
right
so?
out right now.
Well, I got to say, I was surprised the 77 score, despite the fact that you didn't like that stuff. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
77
Anyway.
and 85. Damn, guys.
it's a good movie, man.
I am all about this movie. It's
good
so
movie.
well done.
And I guess let's just talk, generally in a deep meatball and mozzarella hot pocket, just about the quality of the war. the quality of war.
Look at that.
in this movie.
Look at the scenes here.
And I'm going to say the quality is very high. I'm going to give it
Very
an
high.
8 out of 10.
Yeah.
I'm going to say it's not the best, but it's very good.
So you're giving. So when you say quality of war, are you just saying like how good? Like
does it feel real?
Feel
does
real?
it feel immersive?
Oh, this feels outrageously
I think
real.
it does this very well.
So I would say Saving Private Ryan would be the 10.
Yeah.
And I would say I would say this would be I would say this is very high.
I might even bring it to a 9.
8 or 9.
I might bring it to a
What
9.
was
me.
the other? What was the recent movie? All Along the Western Front.
Well,
All Quiet on the Western Front.
1917
All
to
That was
me.
a remake for the record.
All
Yeah.
Quiet.
Yeah, I know.
It was
It's
a remake.
from 1930. I have not seen that one, but I think
It's
All
legitimately
Quiet on the
like a
Western
good
Front.
old movie.
Yeah.
It's a movie worth watching.
I'd be curious how that holds up when
And by the way, Bridge Over the River Kwai is like number 1, but that's World War II, so I couldn't say it for
It's
the.
incredibly good.
There's
But-
so many good World War II.
I
I know.
gotta check out
I know.
1917, don't I?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I gotta check that out.
Sam Mendes,
It's
very
beautiful.
good. But yeah, I guess Nick, I was noticing the production design here and just like how grand and big and huge this movie was, and and there's so much rubble and there's so many things just getting destroyed, and it lingers on a lot of it. It's not cheap. There's not a lot of quick cuts. And yeah, man, boy, the Eastern Front's exotic. You know, we've seen a lot of Western Front, but
yeah.
the Eastern Front's kind of like, what's going on over there? Like
Yeah, it's
that's
kind of
far
new ground.
away.
Yeah.
Well, they talk about the locations, and it's like they talked about the factory, they talked about the mall, the shopping areas, or whatever. And it's like they're going through like a commercialized area of places.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fascinating.
Yeah. So Nick, I'm gonna settle on a 9.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that I'm not mad at that.
They couldn't film in Stalingrad because it doesn't exist anymore, but they did film most of this in Germany,
Yep.
Oh
which is
wow!
a fun fact.
Yep, that is correct.
Can you imagine?
Right? You're filming
Yeah,
Nazis getting beat in Germany.
that's wild.
And this place does exist, but I think geopolitically it's not, a
Right.
big city like it
Yes.
was
Yeah.
before. So
Right.
So moving on to a garlic buttery crust pepperoni pizza. I feel like
ooh, yeah.
doesn't that sound good?
That sounds
I kind of want that.
I want that right now.
Yeah, right now. Yeah. But could you think we get a Hot Pocket sponsor?
Anything maybe.
You know, I should start tagging Hot Pocket on all our social posts.
Yeah.
I don't know what I've been
really
doing for the
think
last
you
year and a half.
should.
Trust me, they don't have enough going on.
Can you guys believe we've been doing this for a year and a
No,
half?
we can bring Hot Pocket back and make it
we
cool again.
we can do it. Hey guys, we emptied the shelves of Old Elk.
We did.
We can bring
We
Hot
did that
Pockets
old
back.
elk.
We have
Nobody
clout.
else.
We're the next Jim Gaffigan.
Something. So, guys, we've covered a lot of my last Hot Pockets. I mean, Bob Hoskins, A+ is Khrushchev, right? Brilliant. Not a great, no real good final twist or ending. I didn't love the ending in this movie. It didn't ruin anything for me, but pretty tidy. Didn't love that too much. I will say, just what if Rachel, whatever her last name is,
Weisz.
just dies. That feels like a better movie. to
Okay,
me.
so
Just let her go.
I'm conflicted there because I don't need to feel good about a movie to like it. But that being said, my experience of this movie, when she was alive at the very end, and so he lives and she lives, I have to have that. It felt
do.
so good.
Wow.
And when he walks to that beautiful
Yeah,
long
great
shot,
shot,
and
great
they
shot.
don't
Yeah.
show any
Yeah.
of their conversation, they just show him walk.
They
to
did it
her.
right. I agree.
I got chills.
Well,
it was
it's a
so
great
well
parallel
done.
because she comes to him in the war in a couple scenes.
Oh, good point.
You know what I mean?
Good call
So
out.
it's a nice little callback to that.
I love the fact that he has something to live for. He has something, and she does too. And like, they only got just the briefest amount of time together, and now it's like, yay, they get to have something. So again, I don't need to have the happy ending, but I was all about the feels on that ending.
It could have been
so
more
good.
Yeah, it could have been poetic if they both passed, or you know what I mean, or one passed and he remembered her.
I think I'd rather them both pass or both live, but not one or the
Yeah,
other.
I guess they'd have to really be efficient with that if one passed.
Question for you guys. I know Ed Harris did not have a German accent or anything like that, but he's got the blue eyes. He's very stoic, very ominous, And then you got Bob Hoskins. Who do you buy more? Bob Hoskins as a Russian or Ed Harris as an efficient German?
Bob all day.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Not even close?
Yeah, I don't think it's close.
They're both. I thought
I
they're both
think
great.
Ed Harris could have been a lot darker and more twisted in this film than he was.
He
Like he
hanged
Well, I know.
child.
Outside of that scene, it wasn't like on screen, but his presence.
What do you
like,
want?
Visually, he doesn't look like the evil type.
Do you also
He's a
realize
Nazi who hangs children.
Ed Harris's introduction in this movie?
the introduction was pretty fucking baller.
There's like 3 scenes where he doesn't talk.
Yeah.
He doesn't even open his mouth.
Yeah.
Like
And he
that.
finally
Noticed
says
that.
something, and that says a lot about a character when
Yeah.
they don't even need to use words. So,
Yeah. Agreed.
but I think Bob Hoskins is the right
I think
answer.
it's Bob,
Yeah.
right?
I like them both.
Yeah, agree.
It's a me.
Both great.
Bob Hoskins.
But it's me.
Guys, any other Hot Pocket flavors tonight? Did we get a chicken bacon ranch in there? What? Any?
We might have. It might be this one. I think in 2024, it kind of feels weird to be rooting for the Russians.
I feel like there was I mentioned this, but there's a dessert Hot
Interesting.
Pocket as well.
I don't know about
Was
that.
there like a s'mores Hot Pocket?
Yeah,
Wait,
there's
these
like
are Pop-Tarts we're talking about.
No,
at this, by,
it was
by
a Hot
now.
Pocket. It was in the frozen
Was
section
there?
for sure. Yeah.
That was a gimmick.
Yeah.
I would try it. I'm looking at my list here. I think we covered all of my Hot Pockets.
I do have some quotes. I don't know if you guys have any quotes.
Yeah, let's hear
I have
some
a couple.
quotes.
I just have a couple.
Yeah.
Quote me.
So quotes. The little conversation that him and his best friend have as he's like suiting him up. Like, is there another scene that you've thought of where a buddy is suiting up his friend before a big life moment where they're going out, but he's talking about a nobleman from Bavaria who hunts deer versus against a shepherd boy from Urals who poaches wolves. And he's like making this speech and he's going on. And he's like, this is the essence of class struggle. Nobody shoots like Vassili. And like he's pumping him up in just like the most subtle way.
I like that.
You know what I mean?
That. There's a great scene where Aragorn is being dressed in the Return of the King. And it reminds me of that. And it's like super hype. It hypes you up, man.
Dude, yeah. But this seems so subtle. It's just them and they're super fucking close. I mean, they could be kissing. They could be pecking for sure.
Yeah.
But other than that, the other one is Bob saying vodka is a luxury we have. Caviar is a luxury we have. Time is not. And he's like,
That's good.
Fucking.
I missed that,
like,
man. Dude, I've seen this movie like 6 times and I owned it, and you like have noticed more about this movie than I have. Jeez.
Yeah. I did very little research and I watched it once last night and it was a slog to get through and I was waiting for it to end. And then
And your Achilles were sore from playing Ultimate Frisbee right before that.
I was icing them. Yeah. Stretching them.
Good for you, man. That's good call outs there.
But we're going to give some closing thoughts here, I believe.
All right, I'm not going to go on as long as I did for anyone but you, but I will say that I've got sort of 5 reasons why I love this movie. I think the pacing is great. I love how we get right into the front lines, like I talked about before. I think the production design. I don't need to say anything else about that. It's immaculate. And then identity. I really like that it was a war movie and a love story. But I think the movie poster is really telling. Can you guys recall the poster for this movie? There was 2 versions of it that were used. Well, actually, one was the cover of the DVD, and the other was the main movie poster. It's Jude Law and not Ed Harris, but Joseph Fiennes.
Yeah, that's what it's on the DVD, right?
Same, and then the DVD. Then the alternate version is Jude Law, Joseph Fiennes, and not Ed Harris, but Rachel Weisz. Right. So they are presenting this movie as a love story, I think, and that's very telling there. And I love that. And I don't think that takes anything away from the war and the history of this movie. I think what it does is it makes you be able to digest the war even better because you're looking at it through the lens of a very small story here. And I love that. I think that some war movies need to be just straight up war and some should be this. So this is great. It's very emotional. This movie, we talk about, does a movie make you feel something? Boy, this movie made me feel a lot. If I ever get chills, that's to me a sign that something's going right. I've never gotten chills watching something or listening to something and it not been a good thing, right? So that's kind of like my litmus. How many times do I get chills watching something happen more than once here? And then finally, a very extremely satisfying ending. You don't get the long, drawn-out fight and chase between Ed Harris. You get Ed Harris comes out of the bunker, he walks, gets to the train tracks, and he freezes like an animal caught. And it backs up and shows Jude Law has him in his sights. Ed Harris. There's not some sort of like, oh, he like does something that distracts him and runs over here and there's this shootout. He just turns, takes his hat off, and gets fucking capped in the head. Beautiful.
I agree. We didn't really bring that up, but I totally agree. That super satisfying ending, quick, just
quick.
right on point, done and done, satisfying. Just really good.
And then you follow that up with Jude Law going to that beautiful long shot of that like hospital bay in that factory, and he walks.
And
up
it's such a simple ruse, right?
Yeah,
it's just like. Dude got shot in the head. Someone got shot in the head.
Yeah, I knew that the ending was going to be Konig getting shot and killed. I just knew that was going to be the hero end, I did not think it was going to be, Vassili or...
Vassili,
I just don't think it's going to be him standing like 20 feet away.
Yeah. Well,
But
I loved it. I loved the ending. Great ending. Very cathartic. Those are my... That's why this is a freaking good movie.
Yeah, you said you felt a lot in this. I felt like I just didn't feel as much in this, but there's a lot to respect. I think that's the hardest thing about this is
well said.
There's a lot of things I enjoyed, but it wasn't enough to hold the movie together for me from a,
I mean, you can't help if you don't feel something.
Yeah.
And again, Nick and I saw this back in the day. You didn't, so who knows? How much of it is nostalgia?
Yeah, yep.
100%.
Yeah,
guy. Great point, Brian. I mean, I saw this at a young and impressionable time, right in high school, right? And that's when a lot of you see a lot of your favorite movies is in high school. That's kind of how it works. This movie, maybe an adjective we haven't used yet, but man, atmospheric. So much so. Performances in this movie pretty good. I love World War II movies, so that goes a long way with me just to begin with. Still didn't love the love story. I didn't think it was a disaster, but it detracted points for me. I understand why someone might like it. I've come around a little bit.
Yeah, I'm happy to hear you say that.
I've come around a little bit, but it's still just not a huge fan of it. But ultimately, I gave this movie a 77, so I think it's a legit good movie. I think it is not top tier World War II, but I think whatever the rung is right below the top tier of World War II films, that's where this movie sits.
Good stuff.
Good, solid World War II. It's not Inglourious Bastards,
right?
But it's pretty damn good.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty damn good. So, all right, we've done it.
Yeah,
34 episodes.
That's amazing.
Man, that's a lot.
Good job, my friends.
That's a lot, and we are threatening to do another
one, another one.
And this time we're gonna do kind of an OG classic.
Oh, here we go.
Yeah.
This is crazy that we haven't done this one yet.
Here it comes, guys.
Wow.
And can you even believe this is even meets our criteria?
I feel like I need to double check.
I know,
but I did double check, and it is,
and it does. And that movie, the 80s classic.
Good Lord.
I would argue this movie won us the Cold War.
I would say
it won us the Cold War, defeated those commies.
And it's sort of like this is, of any movie we've done, this might be the most required watching. Like if you this is a movie where if you haven't seen it, like you're too you just go, yeah, I've seen it. I remember that. Because you don't want to say you haven't seen it.
Right.
Yeah, everyone has to have seen this
You'll
movie.
be dinged.
Is this the bad time to say that I have not seen? No, I'm kidding.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
So if you guys haven't figured it out, boy, I wish I had a good movie to just say.
I wish you just would subvert us with like some kind of no one's ever heard.
Oh, I had nothing good. Too much of our good sponsor. But yeah, it's going to be Top Gun, guys.
Top Gun.
Top Gun.
Top Gun's a critical mess.
Top Gun is a critical mess.
Crazy.
And we are going to talk about it, and we're excited to talk about it. I have a lot to say about Top Gun. I know that for a fact.
Yeah.
And I hope
I'm
you
real
guys do
excited
too.
about this.
I do too. Sorry, I just was watching Rachel Weisz kiss and then do her performance where she
do
sees
not
the boy.
care about that.
It's the performance of seeing the boy. Okay, it's not the kissing. I don't care about the kissing. I don't care about the kissing.
There's the boy.
I don't care about the kissing. Yeah, Top Gun, guys. Top Gun. Let's just do some Top Gun. Let's fucking do
we're
it.
talking
Let's rock
Maverick.
it.
We're talking Iceman.
This is it, man.
And
Goose.
we're gonna do it.
R.I.P.
R.I.P.
Spoilers.
Goose.
I hate it. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I can't wait.
Socials.
What about him?
Talk to us about them.
We are on social
You're
media.
the only one that knows what that
I'm the
means.
only person
Gris,
that
you are
manages
the guy who does
media.
social media.
We will
'Cause you
grow
won't
our
give me the
social this year, I think. But currently, we are only on one. It is at Critical Mess Crew on Instagram. Just go
Nice.
follow us. Go like all our shit.
It's beautiful stuff, man. Gris does amazing work with the graphics and the photos. Good Lord. It's like, I look at that and I'm like, that's not what we look like. How did he
man.
make us look that good?
Yeah,
It does.
listen on Spotify. Listen on
Apple.
Apple Podcasts.
Give us a review, man.
Give us a review. Give us a rating.
Right,
Give us an
something funny.
honest rating. Give us an honest rating.
We will literally meme your review into a whole segment of the show. Tharks came from a review.
Yes.
You have that power.
To change this show.
To change the name of one segment.
You can make us change everything.
You have the power.
On a
you have that
podcast that
power.
makes tens of listens.
Just take 10 minutes and fucking jot some shit down. We'll do it. We'll take it as gospel.
Yeah.
Well, if you made it this far, thank you so much. You are a saint and a legend, and we are so happy that you, for some reason, like listening to us, and we can't wait to talk to you again next time.
See ya.
Later.